Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Good. So we're going to do a couple of things today. First, I want to thank Olivier. I want to thank Carl, Gina, who's not here today, Michelle, the entire staff, everyone who put the event together. Can we give them a round of applause, please, before we do anything? And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have our rules of engagement. So we've got 2 rules today, and I'm going to ask everybody to call your attention to the screen. The first rule is full participation. This is not Mike speaking down to everybody or lecturing. This is 100% full participation. And the second part is the pledge. This is the part that most people do not like, but everyone is going to love by the time we're finished. So I need everybody to stand up now. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up now. Everybody take your cellular phone, your mobile device, put it in your left hand now. Your mobile device, your cell phone, put it in your left hand now. And everybody raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. And repeat after me loud and proud and say, I will not look at my phone. Send a text. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Time out. I saw some people put their hands down. Right hand up, phone in your hand. Let's pick up from the text. Here we go. Send an email. Dare to check voicemail. Or look at my laptop. For the next 2 hours. Keep your hand up. And to illustrate this. And to illustrate this. I will now hand my phone to the person next to me. Everybody, 30 seconds for real. Switch phones right now. Shut down your laptops right now. Put your phones in Do Not Disturb and grab a seat. Do not disturb. Do not disturb. Do not disturb. Do not disturb. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Everybody look at the screen. Look at the screen. Don't be one of these. Don't be one of these. All right? Did everybody switch phones for real? I'm not kidding. Did you switch phones? Now, when I have a small group of 20 people or less, I have a big, beautiful basket here, and we everybody's phone. That's a panic for you guys, okay? So all I did is ask you to switch. Now I need everybody who has a laptop or a tablet. I know it's going to sound terrible. Close it. Put it away. And now I'm going to ask Michelle, wherever Michelle is. Michelle, can you hand out those flyers, please? Everybody has a pen. Everyone's going to have a flyer to take notes. I don't want you taking notes on your laptop today or your tablet or any other way to do it. You could transfer your notes later. Sorry, people. We're going to do it one way, and that's focus. I'm going to be with you. You're going to be with me for the next 2 hours, and that's how we roll. I'm not one of these that says, hey, click this QR code and go on Twitter right now. We're not posting anything while we're together. It's 2 hours of just focus. Everybody give me an okay on that. Okay? Okay. All right, here we go. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about teams today, but we're also going to go on a lot of bunny trails. So the focus is on teams. Should you build a team? Should you join a team? Should you start a team? Should you go out on your own, which is generally not my recommendation? Should you be an individual agent that has help, that doesn't necessarily build a full-blown team, but you have help? So we're going to go in all different directions. And separate from that, what we're going to do is go on a lot of bunny trails that I just mentioned about real estate. So it's not just going to be teams, it's going to be a little bit of everything today. My goal for everybody today is to walk away with at least 5 to 10 nuggets. So if you hear me say, I'm giving you gold, baby, gold, that means I'm giving you what? Nuggets. So everybody say gold, baby, gold. Gold, baby, gold. No, say it like you mean it, like from your soul. Everybody, gold, baby, gold. Gold, baby, gold. We're going to give you gold, right? Some golden nuggets today. That's the goal. So let's start off, why build a team? So when you walk into a Home Depot, is the person that is at the cash register generally the same person that's helping you in the aisle, yes or no? No. Is the person helping you in the aisle generally the manager of the store, yes or no? No. Okay? And is the person that's managing the store generally sweeping the floor at the end of the night, yes or no? Right? So that's an example. In a restaurant, I want to do a quick example. All right, let's do, who haven't I not called on? All right, come with me. Come on up. All right, tell everybody your first name.
Neelam.
Neelam. All right, Neelam. What is the name of your favorite restaurant?
Mughal.
Okay, come on, sit over here so everybody can see you. Okay, so I want to pretend that you're walking into your favorite restaurant. Are you ready? I'm going to be the greeter, the host, the maitre d'. I don't care what you want to call me. Are you ready? So walk into the restaurant, and we're going to pretend it's 2 people. Are you ready? Walk in. Good evening. Welcome. How can I help you?
Looking table for 4.
4 people. Okay, great. Fantastic.
want it?
You want to sit?
Yeah.
Okay, so come on, I'm going to seat you over here. So we're going to seat you down over here. Come on, sit you here. Great. Now you're going to sit here, okay? Now you expect somebody to come to the table, okay?
Yes.
I want to pretend that this is 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. Face the audience.
looking.
And nobody's here. Who's supposed to come to the table? The waiter, the server, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, who's supposed to clear the table? The busboy, right? Is the maitre d' the busboy? No. Is the busboy the manager? No. Okay, everybody understands, right? All right, round of applause. Come on over here, come on over here. Here, take a prize from the box. Take a prize, take a prize. By the way, we have prizes. We have participation prizes. We have books. We have candy, lots of sugar. Lots of good stuff right here. Yeah, you get the first pick. Yeah. Good, she got a book. Okay, good. All right, so you get the point, guys. You go into Home Depot, you go into a restaurant, retail stores, same thing. We don't have to beat this up too much. Think about your office. Name one position in your real estate office. Go. Admin. Name another one. Broker. Name another one. Marketing. Name another one. Coach. Name another one. Agent. We have all different people, right? We're all not doing the same thing. So for those of you in the room who say, well, Mike, I don't want to be on a team. I don't want to join a team. I'm going to be an individual agent for the rest of my life. That's great. God bless you. But I want to leave you open to the possibility that there are teams for a reason, and everywhere around us there are teams, okay? And that's the point. So why build a team? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about that cliche, right? Raise your hand if you ever heard a speaker say, you got to know your why. Anybody ever hear that, right? You always got to know your why. So I want everybody to take their pen, take their paper, okay? You have a pad on the table. You also have the sheet that I gave you. Anywhere on the back side of the sheet that I gave you, I want you to write down your why. So before we do anything else and talk about why to build a team, first, let's talk about the why of being in real estate. Let me give you an example. My 3 whys in this order is God, my wife Melody, and that means family and friends also. We have no kids. So it's God, Melody, family, friends, and then business. Those are my whys in order. Why I get up in the morning, why I go to work, why I hustle. I want to give everybody 30 seconds right now. I just want you to write down your why. Put teams aside for a second. Write down your why for being in real estate. Do that now. And I'm going to peek at a few. Why are you doing this? Why are you here? Why are you in real estate? Why do you get up and dress beautifully? By the way, this is a really good-looking group. Really good-looking group. And a very well-dressed group, by the way. All right. No, I don't. I really don't. This is a good group here. All right, somebody give me one why. Give me one of your whys.
Financial freedom.
Financial freedom. Fantastic. Get some sugar. What do you got?
Family.
Family. Good. What do you got?
I put those 2.
All right, good. I'm going to let you repeat. Let's have this side over here. Let's get a couple. Helping people. I'm going to throw down a Kit Kat coming at you. Nice catch. And? All right, help people there. All right, one more. Let's get one in the front.
My why is to educate and promote the need for real estate in my community.
Educate, promote the need for real estate in our community. Fantastic. So the point is we have to know why we're getting up, why we're doing what we're doing, right? Good? Carl? Wait, Carl's got one.
One of my 3 is because I love it.
Because you love it? Hold on a second. Let me see if I can keep this over here. All right, Carl, you ready, baby? Here, Olivier, this is for Carl. That's for Carl. All right, so your why. You have to know what your why is, and if you're building a team, you need to refine that why. If it's all those 3 things, fantastic, but you need to know the why. The next thing we do is figure out, within that why, what are the most important aspects. For me, it was all about time. I wanted to build a team for time. I felt like real estate was stealing my time. Raise your hand right now if you feel like real estate steals your time, your sanity, your health, your relationships, any combination of that, raise your hand. Sanity, did I say sanity? Okay. The bottom line is when you're doing this correctly and you build a team correctly, or you're part of a team correctly, you will get a lot of that time back if you're doing it right. The next reason is for the additional income. I did not build a team for the income. The income was the byproduct. The income came naturally, but the time was the first, the income was the second. You may say that these are some of the reasons why you join or start a team yourself. The next thing is because maybe the team leader has an abundance of leads. I remember when I was starting my first team, my wife's name is Melody, by the way. I started the team, and she was beside herself that I was starting the team because she's like, Mike, why are you going to give away your leads? Why are you giving away your business? And I said, Mel, it's not, I don't look at it as giving it away. I look at it as sharing, but then getting more time to spend with you. And maybe that's why she was asking me. Maybe she didn't want to spend that time. I'm not sure. Okay, anyway. Okay. The point is if you have an abundance of leads, a good, robust CRM, then that means that you're in a position to start a team. What does CRM stand for? CRM. Raise your hand if you want it. All right. Youssef.
Client.
All right, I'm going to go client. So client relationship management or client relationship manager. What is the CRM that you use right now? What CRM are you using? KV Core, right? And some of you might be using your own, but KV Core, okay? The point is when you have a good, robust CRM and you're putting a lot of leads into that, then it may be time to think about, expanding. All right, and then of course, economic arbitrage. Raise your hand if you know. You don't have to say what it is, but raise your hand if you know what economic arbitrage is. Raise your hand. Anybody economic arbitrage? Okay, so we got one hand, that's good. All right, we're gonna stay right there, we're gonna talk about it. So let's talk about economic arbitrage, and we're gonna spend a little bit, who's our first? Who's our first? Who is it? Who is it? Is that yours or your neighbor's? Whose is it? Which one? Is it this one? This one, which one? This one here? All right, that's the first phone to get. What's your name again? I won't say it. All right, I'm going to just borrow this one phone, and this phone's going in the prize basket. So if you want to pick out a phone, it's in the prize basket. All right, here we go. All right, let's go. Our economic arbitrage. So let's start with the beginning. We're going to divide the group up, okay? This is group A, that is group B. I need one person right now quickly from group B, one from group A. Hurry up, one person to represent your team. Quickly, one person come up, one person come up. Hurry up, here we go, right there by the buzzer, right there by the buzzer, right there by the buzzer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Coach Super Mike feud. And here are the rules of the feud. It's very simple. I need one hand behind your back, one hand behind your back. This is the easy buzzer, right there. You're gonna hit the easy buzzer, and only when I call on you will you give the answer. Are you ready? Here we go. What is your exact to the penny hourly rate? And if you don't know it, don't buzz because you got to better back it up. What is your hourly rate? All right, ladies, grab a seat, grab a seat, grab a seat, grab a seat. All right, two more players, two more players, two more players. Hurry up. Two more players, two more players, two more players. Represent. Somebody represent. Hurry up. Hurry up. Two more players. I need somebody quick. I got one over here. Do I have two players from Team B that want to come up? Two players from Team B? All right, we got A and B. Here we go, here we go. Step up, step up, step up. Here we go. All right, everybody, pay attention. Pay attention. Here we go. Hand behind your back. Oh, look at this. Susan's like, get your hand behind your back. All right, here we go. Ready? Here's the next question. To the penny, what is your hourly rate?
$4.50 an hour?
$450?
$450 an hour.
$450 an hour. And can you back that up, or are you guessing?
Well, guesstimated, putting together business that's come in, spread it out, and guesstimated where.
Okay, I'll take it. What's your first name?
Lennon.
Lennon, great. And Susan, right?
Right.
Okay, fantastic. Everybody, round of applause to Lennon and Susan. Lennon and Susan, fantastic. All right, so let's talk about this. How do we determine the hourly rate? Lennon. Get that. Oh, nice catch. Nice catch, good diversion. Susan, that's for you. Susan's getting all sugared up over there. All right, so how do we determine hourly rate? There's two factors. Somebody give me one of them.
Your income.
Income and time. Income and time. I want everybody right now, take your pen and paper, and I want you to write down the hours that you work in a day. How many hours do you believe you work in a day? And while you're writing that down, I'm going to bring up one of you to volunteer. One of you to volunteer. Is it Jacob?
Yes, sir.
Jacob, handsome Jacob, come on up. Everybody, round of applause for Jacob. Round of applause for Jacob. All right, Jacob, come on over here. All right, and tell everybody, come on this side, and this way we can see you. Tell everybody, in the morning, and everybody, time out. Raise your hand if you did not write down the hours that you work in a day. Did everybody do that already? Got it? Okay, good. Jacob, what did you write down? How many hours?
8 hours a day at least.
8 hours a day at least. Fantastic. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I want everybody, as I ask Jacob these questions, To think about the question, think about your own answer, okay? Here we go. Jacob, when you wake up in the morning, and stretch. Everybody stretch, everybody stretch, everybody stretch. Stretch in the morning, wake up, Jacob, do it, stretch good, straight, get the back. Besides going to pee, Jacob, what's the first thing you do in the morning?
Make my bed.
Okay, before you make your bed, Jacob, is there something else that you might do before making the bed?
Wake up.
Wake up. Anybody else? Check your phone. Check your phone. Do you check your phone?
No.
Oh, I love this guy. Okay, fantastic. I love this guy. This is a good example. Okay, so what is the first activity you do in the morning?
I make my bed, and then I'll meditate, and then I'll pray.
I love it. After you do all that, what's the first, everybody listen to this, what's the first real estate activity you do, Jacob?
Check my emails.
Go nice and loud. Check emails. What time would you say you start checking your emails? Ballpark.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. Let's say 9. And what time do you generally go to bed?
10:30.
10:30. How many hours is that, ladies and gentlemen? 9 a.m. to 10:30. Just ballpark. Okay? Say 11 and a half, give or take. Now, when you are about to go to bed, when is the last time you check your phone? Text, voicemail, email, DMs, PMs, anything like that?
9:30.
9:30. So if we're really doing, let's say 9 to 9, that's 12 hours, ballpark. But I'm not saying you're working 9 hours. If we take that, rather if you're working 12 hours, I'm not gonna say you're working 12. How many hours do we really have to take off that are unproductive in between? Is it 4, is it 3? So are you really working 8 hours a day?
Yes.
Okay, so 8 hours a day, and how many weeks do you take off a year?
How many weeks?
Yeah. How many vacations do you go on? And think about this for yourself too, guys. This is all, you're thinking about this yourself as well. How many vacations do you go on in a year?
2.
2 vacations a year. All right, so everybody, round of applause for Jacob. Now we're gonna do some math. Thanks, Jacob. Jacob, take a piece of candy, okay? All right, so I want everybody to think about their own hours now. And I want you to write out this example. I want you to actually make your hours correct. So Jacob's hours are probably pretty accurate. Some people would say, well, I work 40 hours a week, or I work 35 hours a week. I want you to make it real. So if you're saying in your mind that you work 8 hours a day, and you're working 5 days a week or 6 days a week, stretch that 8 to a little bit more, because you're probably working a little bit more. So what everyone's gonna do right now is you're gonna write down your total income for 2022. Everybody write this down, your total income for 2022, whatever that number is. And you're not going to be able to do this right now because you don't have your calculator with you, because you're not using your phones. So this is the anticipation you're going to figure out later on during your break. And you're going to divide that by the number of hours you worked. Now, the average American works how many hours in a year? Somebody take a guess. How many hours a year does an average American work? 2,000. That's the answer. Okay, 2,000. 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, with 2 weeks off potentially. A lot of Americans only get 1 week off, but that's the general idea. Okay, so your hours could be 3,000 hours, 3,500 hours, 2,800 hours. You're going to determine that. You can do some quick multiplication on your paper, right? So the bottom line is let's talk about what economic arbitrage actually is. You're taking your hourly rate. You're looking at the hours, and now I'm going to give you the real example. You all know what economic arbitrage is, but I'm going to just break it down for you in this way. Let's say, for example, Youssef. Let's say you do the calculation, and you say, I'm worth, here, let's do something real quick, hang on. Let's do it this way. Let's say Youssef makes, I'm going to round this up and just say 150,000, okay? And let's say Youssef worked, let's say, 3,250 hours, okay? So I'm taking 150,000, 150, divided by 3,250, and I get $46.15, okay? The average real estate agent that's high producing makes somewhere between $7,500 and $100 an hour. A high producing agent. The killer agents can make into the hundreds, right? But a high producing agent, 75 to 100 is not bad when you're looking at something like this, okay? So what economic arbitrage is very simply is this. Let's say Youssef said, this is crazy. I'm doing all the roles as an individual agent. I'm doing everything by myself. And even if he's on a team, he might still be able to say this because maybe he's still doing a lot of the paperwork and the things that he shouldn't be doing, okay? If he hired out somebody, let's say an assistant, a personal assistant, at, let's say, $15 an hour, okay? If he's worth $46 an hour, and he hires somebody for $15 an hour, what's the balance?
81.
Right? So I'm just going to round it and say $31, okay? $31 is the economic arbitrage. That means that if he hired somebody out, he can now focus on the important tasks. So I want everybody to do me a favor. On the sheet where it says economic arbitrage, there's some blank lines. I want you to write down a couple of notes here, okay? I want you to write down, what is an assistant worth? What is an assistant worth? And we're going to talk a little bit about this. But before we do that, I want you to also write down 3 core functions. Write down 3 core functions. It's not going to be on the screen. We're going to talk about this today. This is one of those bunny trails I was telling you about. So I believe that every real estate agent has 3 core functions. 3 things that they must do, and that means that somebody else or other people can be doing everything else. Somebody give me one of them. Raise your hand and tell me what is one core function, Susan.
Prospect.
Susan, you are collecting. You know what, Susan, I want you to take a book. Take a book. Take a book, or there's a cell phone in here.
Yeah, I can take a phone, right?
Let's take a phone. I'm playing.
Thank you.
Okay. 3 core functions. So number 1, everybody write down prospecting. Prospecting. For sure, in order, that is number 1. What's number 2? Somebody raise your hand, tell me number 2. What's another core function that every realtor has to do? Okay, I'm going to say showings, but I'm not going to have you write that down. Give me another one. Who said negotiations? All right, everybody write down number 3 is negotiations. Good job, guys. That's the one most people do not get. Negotiations. What is number 2? I like marketing. We'll leave that for somebody else.
Follow-up.
What's that?
Follow-up.
Follow-up, I like that. We're going to keep that in the prospecting category. That's great. Give me another one. Guys, spit it out. Making offers. Give me another one. Write contracts. Admin. Come on. Core function, core function, core function. What does every realtor want but they can't get right now? Listings. Listings. So number 2 is obtain listings. Number 1, prospecting. Number 2, obtain listings. Number 3, negotiations. If you really think about real estate and break it down, unless you're a team leader and maybe another one of your functions is to recruit, unless you're a broker and one of your functions is to recruit and to be the CEO of the business, these are the 3 true core functions. Now I want to ask everybody, and I want you to do this with honesty in your heart when you answer this. I want you to stand up if 90% or more of your time in your real estate day is focused on only those 3 things. And don't make me call you out. Stand up if 90% of your time is focused on only those 3 things. Somebody stand up. Anybody? Okay. What's the reason? Why is that?
We're wasting our time on other administrative stuff.
Susan says it. We're blowing through our time like on all sorts of other things.
The whirlwind of everything else.
Yeah, we're distracted. We're caught in the whirlwind, right? So as a quick example, I want to just tell you a little story, okay? And that's goes back to the phone that used to sit on my hip. My phone does not ring, bing, ding, or sing unless my wife, my mother, or my sister are calling. Other than that, for the last 10 years, it does not make a noise. Why do you think that is? Distractions. Think about the number of distractions that we get. We are pulled in a million directions. Let me ask you this question. How many times a day, and this could even just mean looking up, how many times a day does the average American check their email? Spit it out. 500. 500, give me a number. 1,000. Come on, 1,000? Anybody? 80 times a day. 80 times a day. Is that absurd? I mean, what are we doing to ourselves? And this is me included. I used to do that as well, right?
Text or just email?
That's just emails. That's just, the text, forget it. That's abysmal. Listen, raise your hand if you ever heard of the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco. Anybody? Okay. Sebastian's one of my favorite comedians. Later on, you can YouTube Sebastian.
Yeah.
The point is he does this really funny skit where he says, what's up with people on these cell phones today? He goes, when people used to have the home phones, the home phones that were connected with the wire that we used to pick up, that phone, right? He goes, nobody ever went up to the home phone and picked it up and said, is anybody calling? Is anybody there? But yet we take our phones constantly looking like we need it. It's like a drug, right? That's it, exactly, that dopamine drip. Like they knew what they were doing when they invented the cell phone. Back to the point at hand, okay? So when we are focusing on the 3 core functions, right? That's when our business goes from 100,000 a year to 200 to 300 to 400 to 500 and so on and so on. Question?
Mike, can you differentiate listings over prospecting?
Yes. So the act of prospecting, and everybody write this down. I'm giving you gold, baby, gold. Nobody, I'm sure, ever told you that you need to prospect, right? I'm playing with you. 2 hours of prospecting calls, 5 days a week. Everybody write it down. Everybody, pen and paper, pen and paper. 2 hours of prospecting calls, 5 days a week. 2 hours of prospecting calls, 5 days a week. I'm going to get to your question in just a second, but I want to get there. Watch this. Raise your hand if you can tell me that you had at least 1 week so far this year, 1 week straight, 5 days, 5 business days straight, where you prospected 2 hours a day straight, and you can prove it on your calendar right now and prove it if I let you use your phone right now. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. Who's done it? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. I've got one person. What's your name? Sue. One person. That's the reason why we're not kicking ass, everybody. That's the reason. So anybody that's coming to the office, not here, not you guys, but realtors in general, when we're belly aching, there's no listings, there's no inventory, I don't know what to do, my market, my this, all the excuses, I go, show me your calendar. Show me your KV core. Show me that you made the notes. Show me what you're doing. And it's not possible, because if we're not putting in the time, the prospecting, it doesn't make sense. So to answer your question, the act of prospecting is the 2 hours of calls Monday through Friday, regardless of what business you're in. And the act of obtaining listings is going on the appointments and closing the deal. So actually obtaining the listing. I call it extracting the listing. Everybody write down extraction. What does it mean to extract? Anybody? What does it mean to extract? Obtain, give it to me more hardcore. Take. You got to walk in and take that listing. I walk into a listing appointment. So when I talk about number 2 as far as my core functions, I'm not there to walk around and make friends. That's all part of the big picture. I'm there to get that listing. That listing belongs to me. It's my time to list the property. They may not know it yet, but that's what I'm there to do, right? Quick side note, my wife and I forgot to do a quick little intro, so let me put a timeout here for a second and do a little intro, because I didn't do that. I spent 20 years as a real estate agent, 2 years with Weichert, like that, I have a little Weichert, I have a little yellow blood left in me, 18 years with Remax, built a very successful team, thank God. The first half of my career, I always tell all of my clients, was mediocre at best, so the first 10 years was just mediocre. Somebody tell me, what does the word mediocre mean? What does it mean? Who here wants to be mediocre? Everybody chant with me. Mediocre, mediocre. No. So mediocre at best, it was pretty abysmal. And then the second half of my career went up like a rocket ship, stayed on an upward trajectory and never came down, thank God. The point though is when I was doing the business, I realized that I needed to build the team. So I built a successful team. Never wanted it to be big, so it was several admin, which I'll explain in a little while, and several agents. My wife, Melody, and I set 1, 5, and 10-year life goals. Everybody write this down. Set 1, 5, and 10-year life goals. Set 1, 5, and 10-year life goals. You all know this already. I'm not giving you anything that's rocket science, but I do want to have you write this down after that. Write down, in writing, signed, dated, hung up, viewed twice daily. Everybody, pen and paper. I want you to write this down. In writing, signed, dated, hung up, viewed twice daily. Somebody say it back to me. Twice daily. When are you reading it? When are you reading your goals? When? Morning and night, right? What happens at night? Why right before bed? What's working? Your subconscious, right? Your subconscious is processing, it's giving you back what you want. It's helping you to get there, right? So the point is we set 1, 5, and 10-year life goals. One of our life goals was to retire by age 40 and sell the real estate team. I didn't have a brokerage. I didn't own a business. I didn't own a building. I had a team. So we were able to do that successfully. We missed it by about 1.5 years. So at age 41 and a half, I retired successfully from real estate and sold my team. We'll talk about that in a little while. And the second life goal that we set to go along with that was to live on an island. So my wife and I now live on the island of Curacao, which is next to Aruba, and we do that half of the year. So 6 months in that beautiful 82 to 86 degree weather, and then half the year on the beach in Long Branch. I say none of this to brag, to pat myself on the back, to say Mike is great. It's none of that. I'm trying to get in your heads. My goal is to get in your head. So let me ask you a question. Give me a life goal that you'd like to accomplish. What's your first name?
Sandra.
Sandra, one life goal that you'd like to accomplish 10 years from now. Just give me one.
To buy a property in Europe.
Ooh, where in Europe?
Italy would be my first choice. Spain and Portugal.
Okay, So,
By 3.
okay, I like this. I'm gonna give you a piece of candy and I'm gonna have you write out a goal right now. And I want you to do your own goal right now as we're doing Sandra's, okay? Here we go, you ready? So, by what year do we wanna do this?
I would say 10.
Okay, so we're gonna say by December 31st, write this down, and everybody write this down on your own and you'll fill in your own blanks later on, okay? By December 31st, 2033, I will have in my possession, and then can we make it one house for now, or you want to put it in 3?
I would start off with 1.
1, okay, I will have in my possession 1 home, and where? Pick one country right now.
I got it.
Which one?
Italy.
Perfect, Italy. Now, specifically where in Italy?
Montalcino.
Ooh, Montalcino, fantastic. All right, in Montalcino, right? And then you're gonna fill the rest of it in later on your own, guys. You'll say, I will have this as a result of my hard work, as a result of 2 hours of prospecting, Monday through Friday, as a result of building my team, expanding my team. However you're gonna do it, you're gonna finish that, and then you're gonna read that to yourself twice daily, right? So this is all goes into how we're gonna do this. All right, so back to finishing the intro. So I spent 10 years as a public servant. I was the youngest elected official in the country when I was 18, got elected to the Board of Ed, became deputy mayor at 23, mayor at 25, and that's all kind of spurred my real estate career. It all helped, like all that meeting and greeting was part of it. All right, let's keep moving. So on your sheet, guys, you follow along and take your notes. So when should you build your team? I have a basic barometer of when I believe people should build a team if they're deciding to build a team, okay? The first is 12 to 20 sales. So let's talk about this. And really it's 12 to 24. I think that when you're at the point that you have 1 home per month sold consistently, it's time to think about an assistant. Even if you're on a team right now. Okay, if you're on a team right now, it's still a good idea to consider an assistant. Once you're at 20 or 24 homes, for sure, you should have an assistant. Raise your hand in this room if you have an assistant. Raise your hand in this room if you have an assistant. Raise your hand high. High, I want to see them. Okay, got a handful, fantastic. Put your hands down. Raise your hand in this room if you are an assistant. Fantastic. All right, good.
Raise my hand on my own.
Yeah, well, we're trying to get you out of that, though. We're trying to get you out of that business. Okay, so let me rewind and just kind of go on a bunny trail, tell you a little story. So I like to think I invented the role of personal assistant, true personal assistant. I didn't invent the title, but the way in which that I did this. I hired a woman named Pam. Pam was not my right hand, my right arm. Pam was with me for 14 years, okay? Pam, when I sold my business, I sold my team, went with the new team. That day was one of the worst days of my life because I realized I have to call into my voicemail, and I've got to check my own texts and check my own emails. I've got to go back to the old way of doing things, right? It was not fun. It was not pretty. But Pam was my true personal assistant. So most people think of an assistant in real estate as somebody who's just assisting you for real estate tasks. What would differentiate between a real estate assistant and a personal assistant? Just give me one thing.
They help you with your personal,
Give me an example.
picking the kids up from practice.
Picking the kids up. Give me another one. Anybody? Doctor's appointments, groceries. Pay your bills, right? Work your budget, all that good stuff, right? There's all of those different things, okay? So the bottom line is Pam was with me every day in my dining room, because I work from home primarily. She was in my dining room while I was in my office. So I was working on something, I would say, Pam, I need you to do this. She'd say, got it, Mike, I'm on it, right? If we were on our way to a listing appointment, where was Pam? Passenger seat. What was Pam doing in the passenger seat? Texting, returning messages. I was dictating emails to her, right? When we got to the listing appointment, what was Pam doing? Taking notes. When we were done and I'm sitting down doing the listing presentation, what's Pam doing? When I'm sitting there and I'm in front of the sellers, what's Pam doing?
Taking notes.
Writing up the contract?
She's doing all the other work. So I like the writing up the contract. That was already written before we got there, but I like that. The bottom line is she's sitting there getting all of her other work done, right? And then when I need her, Pam, I need you to help me with room measurements. Pam, I need you to help do this, whatever it is, right? So when we think about an assistant, I want you to think about it in a different way. I always love to tell this silly story, but it was very meaningful to me even until today. You drive your car, right? You put your elbow down on that thing. I don't know what that thing is, that console. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, I put my elbow down so much on my console in my Jeep Grand Cherokee that it developed a little crack in that vinyl, right? And in the summertime, when I was wearing, a short sleeve shirt, What happened? Scratching my elbow. That bothered me greatly. So I'm driving, bothering me. I come home. Pam and I are in the house. She's in the dining room. I say, Pam, I need you to go to Pep Boys, get a kit. Let's get that thing fixed. I don't know what happened. Boom. She goes to the store. She gets a kit. She takes the blow dryer. I don't know what she did. She fixed it, right? This thing was fixed. I was like in my glory, okay? So this was fixed for a year. At the end of the year, it started to crack again. I said, Pam, do me a favor. I need a permanent fix. She brought it to Asbury Park, had it leather upholstered. It was almost a perfect match. And to this day, I'm not kidding, every time I get in my car and I put my elbow down, I think of Pam. I think of Pam. I said, she's a rock star. So your personal assistant is going to do everything you need them to do. And we can go on all sorts of tangents with that. But that is the first person you hire, in my opinion. It's either your personal assistant or your transaction coordinator, okay? And I didn't invent this phrase, but I do want everybody to think about this. Have you ever said to yourself, and I want you to raise your hand if you've actually ever said to yourself, I can't afford to have somebody. I can't afford to pay. Raise your hand if you believe that in your heart you can't afford. Okay, put your hands down. I'm here to tell you that second part. You cannot afford not to. Because what's going to wind up happening is you're going to say to yourself, okay, I can't afford somebody full time, right? So I can't afford this $15 or this $20 an hour. And you're not going to make the move. You're going to stay paralyzed with fear. But I'm telling you, your best bet is to go out on a limb and get started. We're going to talk about that in a little while. Don't be paralyzed with fear. All right, let's talk about the next step. So we're going to talk about various types of teams, okay? There are at least several teams, several different types of teams. I'm going to talk about 4 today. There are many structures, but we're going to go over 4, okay? The first one is the traditional team, and that's your agents and your admin. So again, we just talked about that before. You start maybe with your assistant, maybe with a transaction coordinator, and then you start to build out your agents, okay? That's a traditional type of team, okay? Probably the most popular team that I see around the country, and certainly that I have in my client base. The next one is your segregated listing and sale departments. I have a lot of teams that have separate departments. So listings, where the agents only do listings, and the buyers, where they're only handling buyers. There is no crossover. This type of team, the second set of teams, also encompasses the listing agent being the one that's doing the listings, and then only having agents that are doing all of the buyers. That's also a very popular type of model, okay? And by the way, everything that we're talking about when we're discussing teams today, this is for you if you're deciding to build a team, whether you're on a team, maybe there's just a different spin, a different twist that we can put on the team model today. The next one is the solo. And now this is going to sound funny. Well, what do you mean, Mike? How is there a team that's solo, right? Raise your hand if you are a control freak. Raise your hand. Everybody look around. Come on, guys, be honest. Look, I mean, you know, if every one of you are raising your hand, you're lying, right? Come on. So we're real estate agents, we're control freaks, right? So the solo agent model, and I have a few of my agent clients that are in this category. This is built because they want to control everything, right? But yet we've allowed them to let go of some of the reins. So the solo agent has a staff. As an example, team leader has 4 assistants. They're all licensed, so they're all technically agents, but they call them assistants, right? Or client care coordinators. They still do all the roles as a real estate agent, but it's designed in such a way that they're not promoting a big giant team. It's still promoting one individual agent, okay? So some of you might fall into that model. And then the last one is a combination of the solo with the assistant and then showing assistants. Now that's a little bit different too. Let me tell you why. What's a showing assistant? Somebody tell me, what is a showing assistant? They show homes. What else do they do? They could schedule the appointments. Maybe put on lock boxes. Primarily showing. What else? Going on inspections, going on meeting appraisers, things along those lines. Those core functions, okay? And we're going to talk about how these people are paid as well in a little while. So those are the types of teams. There are many other team models, but those are some of the basics, okay? By the way, as we go, jump in if you have a question, throw your hand up, and then we're going to have a detailed Q&A at the end. And that Q&A at the end is for teams, for real estate, for any topic you want to talk about when we open it up later. But if you have your question as we go, just let me know. All right, here we go, how to build. So we're doing the traditional first. Very first step, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is the systems. So I want to have everybody stand up right now. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Stand up. And I want you to remain standing. Everybody stand, everybody stand, everybody stand. Come on. We stay, we stretch. Good. All right. Remain standing if you believe your systems, your real estate systems, are perfected or close to perfected. Stay standing if they're perfected or close to perfected. Close is fine. I'll take close. Hold on. Hold on. Where's everybody going? Where's everybody going? All right. Come on.
Me?
Yes, you.
Sit down.
You're the one that stood up. Stayed standing. You're going to get
I can't do anything that bad. My back hurts.
Sue, can I call you Sue?
Sure.
Come on over here. Nice and slow. Go slow. All right, Sue, I'm going to need you to do 10 jumping jacks. I'm kidding. Her back hurts. Her back hurts. All right, Sue, can you tell everybody, name 3 systems that you have within real estate? Just any systems that you use within real estate.
My CRM follow-up box.
So follow-up boss. Give me another.
I have CTE, which
That's your tracking.
it tracks
Yeah.
all my.
Everybody know what CTE is, by the way? Whoa, wait.
That was me.
Okay, all right, exempt. I was like, come on, give me one here. All right, so far Team B is in the lead on the phone count. All right, CTE, and give me one. Oh wait, did I ask the question? Does everybody know what CTE is? CTE is, just look at it later on, write down CTE.com or CTEbiz.com, I think it might be. CTEbiz.com, that's a great one. And all it does is you can put all of your numbers into the system, all of your sales, and it's gonna spit out all sorts of diagrams and charts, and it's gonna give you and expenses, I like that. And it's going to show you pretty much everything in a format that's really cool to be able to visualize. It's a nice system. So we've got Follow Up Boss, we've got CTE. Give me one more.
And I use my Google Sheets.
Google Sheets, fantastic, good. Everybody, Sue, systems. So I want to give everybody an example, okay? First of all, let me just say this. Building a team is absolutely not for everybody. So let me just say that in the room right now, very clear. Building a team is not for everybody. It's not easy. It's very, very difficult to do it correctly. And some people should never build a team. Some people should just stay on a team forever. Like, that's just the way it is, right? It's the truth. To illustrate that point, I want to tell a little story. And this is a story about my team. I had a really, really great team, small but mighty. We were top heavy with administrators because that's how I wanted it built. So it was myself at the top as the team leader. Below that, I had my admin. So I had Pam, who I mentioned to you. She's my right arm, my personal assistant. My left arm was my transaction coordinator. Her name was Suzanne. Suzanne was with me for 9 years. Suzanne's role was to run the transactions start to finish. So I want to be clear about this. You should never be calling an attorney ever again, ever. You should never be calling a lender. You should never be calling an appraiser. You should never be setting up your showings anymore. Like, all the things that go on should either be an assistant or a transaction coordinator. But the transaction coordinator coordinates the whole transaction from start to finish. She tells you when the inspection is going to be, and she tells you it's on your calendar. Does everybody understand what I'm saying to you? Okay? You shouldn't be doing that. Those calls should be replaced with what? Prospecting. That's the real key, okay? I want to do one more quick example here. We talked about this before, the economic arbitrage. I lost my marker. I'm not sure where I put that marker. All right, well, oh, here it is. All right, so economic arbitrage we mentioned before. I want to do a quick example. Let's have, what's your name in the blue shirt?
Mine?
Yeah.
Kareem.
Kareem, come on up. Kareem, everybody, give Kareem a round of applause. Come on, guys. All right, we're going to try this again. Kareem, go back. All right, guys, I want you to pretend you're a studio audience. And this is for real, and they say with the applause line. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Kareem, everybody. Kareem! Yes. Come on down. Look at those boots, man. Nice. What's up, man? Thanks for coming. All right, so Kareem, stand here, please. All right, Kareem, I want to ask you a question. Are you an agent?
Yes.
And have you ever shown homes to a buyer?
Yes.
Fantastic. And have you ever set up showing appointments yourself?
I used to.
Okay, fantastic. So I want everybody to visualize this at the same time. Let's pretend you're going to show 6 homes to a buyer. Now, I know that that's very difficult in this market, like trying to string together even 6 homes. I get that. But let's pretend you're going to show 6 homes. I'm sorry if I have my back to you. You're going to show 6 homes. From start to finish, the question is, how long does it take the average agent to set up 6 showings? And before you answer, and before everybody comes up with their own answer in their mind, pulling up the listings, whether your clients are texting you or sending it by WhatsApp or sending it to you by email, and 15 different ways they're sending you homes, and you have to aggregate those and put it up on the MLS, and whether you have to print out the copies and then call each agent or text each agent for availability, and then when you're setting up the appointments, one agent says, well, I can't do it at 2 o'clock, but I can have it done at 1 o'clock. Can we switch around? And you have to switch a few around, and then maybe you're printing out agent copies and customer copies, and maybe you're just emailing them. Who knows? Whatever it is, that whole activity, how long does that take you for 6 homes?
Probably about an hour and a half, 2
Okay,
hours.
so the average agent would say about 1 hour. Some agents say a half hour, some agents say an hour and a half, about 1 hour, okay? So now I'm gonna ask you to grab this marker, and I'm gonna have you help me at the board there, and we're gonna go through an activity. And I want everybody to pay attention, okay? Kareem's gonna do the marker, I'm gonna do the calculator, and we're gonna have a little fun. Because this all goes to building out the assistant part that I was mentioning before, and then we'll get more into the systems. All right, here we go. First thing I'm gonna ask you to write down is this. In 1 hour, if an assistant was making those calls and you replaced that time with prospecting, how many prospecting calls could you make in 1 hour? Not with a dialer, not with an auto dialer, you picking up the phone. How many calls in 1 hour? Spit it out. 10, 25, 20, anybody else? Okay, can we say 12? Is that fair? Yeah. All right, let's write down 12, Kareem. Nice and big, 12. Okay, so 12 calls. All right, now we're gonna do that, 12 calls, and all we're gonna do is, I wanna ask you, how many times are we doing those showings? So let's say we're doing those showings once a week. Is that fair that we're gonna set up showings just once a week? For those of you like, once a week, I better be doing a lot more than that. But is it fair if I just do once a week? Yeah. Once a week, fine. So now 1 times, let's say you're taking vacations, which I hope you are. So 1 times we're gonna say 50. So we're gonna say, 50 times 12, that means we're making 600 calls. So far, everybody with me? Yeah. This is just from that 1 free hour. Nothing else that your assistant is doing, just this 1 free hour. Ladies and gentlemen, out of the 600 calls, how many conversations will you have? Because not everyone's gonna pick up, so spit it out, how many? 260, give me another one, come on. Spit it out, guys. If you call 600 people, how many? All right, 50%, let's go lower. Okay, let's go lower. Let's say 25%. What's 25% of 600? 150. So let's go 150. So we got 150 conversations. Now, who are we talking about? Who are we calling, by the way? Who do you think I'm talking about? Sellers, but who else do you think I'm calling? SOI. Write it down, everybody. SOI. What is SOI? Sphere of influence. Who are they? Who are they? Friends, family, neighbors, past clients, every human you know. Everybody write this down. Your SOI equals 300 to 500. 300 to 500 minimum. 300 to 500 minimum. I'm giving you gold, I promise you, okay? 95% of agents in America do not have a sphere of influence with names, addresses, phone numbers, and emails for 300 to 500 people. Did you hear what I just said? Yeah. 95% of agents do not have names, addresses, phone numbers, and emails, sphere of influence, for 300 to 500 people in a database. They don't. By the way, when we talk about this, everybody write this down. I know I'm keeping you a little while, Kareem. Everybody write this down. Build your business to sell it. We're going to get into that in a little while, but build your business to sell it. What is sellable about your business? What is it? Right? If you don't have a building, what are you selling? You better be able to prove those relationships. That CRM, that houses, that SOI, that's where your proof is. Those calls, those notes that you're taking, that's your proof. All right, back to the point. So we have 150 conversations with people in our SOI. Maybe you threw in some expireds, maybe you threw in some FSBOs, maybe, but really our 2 hours a day are focused on SOI. Out of the 150 conversations, how many leads, referrals, or pieces of repeat business will come from that? I need a number.
10%.
A third? 10? 10 period 10? I submit to you, let me just say this real quick. Somebody that's done this for a decade, remember the first half of my career was what? Crappy. Mediocre. I like crappy. Who said crappy? Susan, I'm not giving you a piece of candy for crappy. But she's right. It was pretty crappy. The bottom line is I was not making calls. I was not following up. I was really just a bad agent. That's just what it comes down to. Once I started to get my act together and making those calls, I was converting, listen to this, guys, 90% of those 150, I was converting. Now, I'm not going to do that with you today because I want to make it realistic, because if you're not doing it consistently, right? So I want to just say out of the 150 conversations that 25% of them, 25% results. So what's that number? What's that number?
We can only do 6%.
You ready? We can only do 6. All right, we're not going to have that conversation. All right, 150 times, let's go here, point. All right, 37 and a half. So write down 37 and a half. 37 and a half referrals. What's your average commission that you take home? Spit out a number. 10,000. Anybody else? Are we using 10,000? Yeah. Fine, we'll use 10,000. You see where this is going, right, guys? 370. Wait, no, we're going to go, let me do the decimal too. 37.5 times 10. All right, so we're going to go 300, just let's make it 375. So $375,000, okay? So, Kareem, thank you so much for writing. Everybody, round of applause for Kareem, everybody. You're the man. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. All right, so here's the point. And I'm going to embarrass some people, and that's okay. Raise your hand in this room if you're making $375,000 or more. Raise your hand. And keep your hands high. Keep your hands high and look around. Everybody look around. Everybody look around. Keep your hands high. You can applaud for that. Why not? I submit to you that everybody in this room has the ability to make $250,000 for sure, with ease, if you're consistent. $250,000 with ease if you're consistent, okay? Back to the story. I know I'm bouncing all over the place. I was telling you a story about my team, okay? So I built a team, myself at the top. I had Pam, Suzanne, my transaction coordinator. I had Joe, my team technician. Joe's job was to go out and do photos, signs, lockboxes, and videos. Photos, lockboxes, signs and videos. He did those 4 functions for each listing, right? And then we had our agents. That was our team model. 3 or 4 agents at any given time at the max. That was our model. One of our agents who I recruited, I'm going to call him Tom. So I leave him nameless, okay? Tom joined my team. He was with Better Homes and Gardens for the first 6 months of his career. He was a brand new agent. And in that 6-month period, he sold 1 house and did 6 rentals. Not terrible. I mean, he's just getting started. He joined the team. His first year, he did 24 sales. Second year, he did 36. And then third year, he did 55 sales. He was making, as a team agent, $255,000 in that final year. So naturally, his head is blowing up. It's getting pretty big, and I have to help him carry it out the door and everything else. So what do you think that Tom decided to do? Go build a team. I can do it. It looks great. Mike did it. It looks super. It's fantastic. So I'm going to go and build the team, right? Because everyone can just go build the team, apparently. So he went out, left the company, went to a new company. I let him go to spread his wings. I wanted him to succeed. And it was an abysmal failure. Not because he left me, but because he didn't have what? Systems. Now, he couldn't take mine because those were proprietary, right? I created those, so he couldn't just take those and repeat those. So the point is he didn't have systems in place. So any of you that are thinking about building a team, please don't make the mistake. Have your act together. Have all of your systems in place. And when we say systems, Sue gave us 3 of her systems. Another system is this. SOP. What does SOP stand for? Most police departments have them. Standard operating procedure. Everybody write down SOP. SOP/training manual. SOP/training manual. So your system could be having a protocol. So if a new listing is going to come in, these are the 5 steps. These are the 10 steps. If you're going to work with a buyer, here are the steps that we do on our team. So for example, here was my SOP for my team when working with buyers. We don't go out and show homes to a Zillow lead. We don't answer a call, run out to a home, and meet a stranger for the first time. That's just not what we do. Our first protocol is to do what? When we're working with a new buyer, what's the very first thing you do? A phone interview. 10 to 15 minute phone interview, okay? What's the second thing you do? This is just my model. What's the second thing you do? Okay? Second thing we do is we have the buyer pre-approved for a mortgage, right? Or we collect proof of funds. Third thing we do, in-person, 1.5 hour to 2 hour complimentary buyer consultation, where we make their heads spin. That's where we build the relationship. That's where all the rapport is being built. That's where we're actually getting referrals from them on that first day as well. And then we set up an appointment for a different day to go looking at homes. Now, some of you might have a different system, and that's great, but that was our SOP. So when I say systems with Sue, that is also a system. Having a specific system in place for each aspect of your business. So that's the first thing. Before you even think about going crazy, have your systems perfected. Before we move on, let's pretend you were going to go into retail and work a retail job. And you started on day 1 in that retail job. And when you walked in, they didn't tell you what to do. They didn't tell you where to go. There was no training. There was no onboarding process. What would you think of that retail establishment? Unorganized. My wife worked on Oral Weapons Station for 13 years before she retired, and she was in daycare. And she left there at one point to go to another place that recruited her. She showed up on the first day. She came home for lunch and never went back. And that's not my wife. She would never do something like that. But she was so beside herself. And because they had no systems, no organization, no structure, she couldn't wrap her head around it, right? She wanted to do good things, but they had to have a foundation first. All right, next step is you have to make sure that there's a win-win for everybody. And when I say win-win, I'm talking about the team leader, the agents, the admin, right? It has to be fair. And what an agent might think is fair and what a team leader might think is fair may be two different things, okay? But there has to be a value proposition presented from the team leader to the agents. Okay, next thing, and this is so important, okay? Raise your hand if you have a written household and a written business budget that you view daily. Sue, raise your hand. I'm kidding. Business budget and household budget that you view daily. Raise your hand. Everybody look around. What is your name? Tabby. So do you have that in Excel? What format do you use?
So I put it in Excel and then I printed it out and I carried it around with me.
Beautiful. I love you. I love her.
Just started.
You're my hero. Okay, so here's the point, guys. There's a reason why there's only a 13% success rate in real estate, and that number fluctuates annually, okay? 13% success rate for real estate agents after 6 months to a year in the business, right? It's because they don't have a budget. So I would implore you, take your notes section, wherever you're writing down notes today, you can put it right on this section of the sheet if you want to. Everybody write down, within 30 days, write this down, guys, pen and paper, I want to see everybody writing. I promise you I'm giving you gold. Within 30 days, I will create a written household and business budget. A written household and business budget. They should be two separate budgets, okay? You could have one Excel doc with 2 tabs if you want to, but they should be separate, okay? Somebody tell me, what's the reason for a budget? There are many. Give me one. Tracking. Give me another one. Guide you. Give me another one. Rainy days, I like that, so you can do a little saving. Give me another one.
For me, it's to relieve stress.
Perfect, so you know. I'm gonna give you a statistic, and it's stunning to me, okay? During that consultation, that complimentary buyer consultation that we would do, and during our listing presentations, by the way, how long was the complimentary buyer consultation? 2 hours. Hour and a half to 2 hours. During that hour and a half to 2 hours, one of the things we're teaching clients to do is to budget. We actually show them how to budget. Do you think any other realtors are showing their clients how to budget? No, because they don't have a budget. How can you teach that if you don't have your own budget? I suppose you could, but it would be a little hypocritical, right? So the point is it's important to have that budget. The other reason that you're using that budget is to cut. But let me give you the statistic I was mentioning. As I'm sitting down with clients, team members, even coaching clients today, on average, they are off by roughly $3,000 to $5,000 in what they believe they're spending in expenses. Listen again. They are off by 3. Say again? Per month. So I'll say to you, so for example, I'll say, okay, what do you spend per month? And I'll go, I say to run your life, business, finance, everything, personal. They go, $8,500. I'm like, not even close. Because I know them already. I know what's going on. I'm like, you're not even close. You're out of the ballpark. Once we put their budget together and that thing's looking like 11 or 12,000, they are, what are their emotions when they see that? Shocked. What else? Give me more, guys. Depressed. What else? They're pissed. They're like, where's it all going, right? Like it doesn't make any sense. So what we do with our clients and what I do with our own household budget and our business budget is we cut 10% annually when possible. Where can you cut? Give me an example in your own life. Where can you cut right now if you wanted to? Eating out. Where else? Shopping services. Raise your hand if Amazon comes to your house once or twice a week. Raise your hand, okay? Anybody seeing less UPS vehicles and more Amazon vehicles lately? I have a prediction I told everybody a couple years ago that Amazon's going to be so big that not only will the delivery service be superior, they will become the deliverers of all packages, and UPS will be out of business in 5 years. It's my prediction. You heard it here. And also, by the way, sad to say for some of you, Target will also be out of business in 5 years. That's just my own opinion. Here we go. Back to the point. I'm sorry. Walmart remains because they're the price leader, whether you like it or not. I don't know. All right, back to the point. So at the end of the day, guys, we have to really understand when we're looking at the budget, the whole purpose is to cut the budget. The other thing I want you to write down, and this might sound surprising, especially if you are a team leader, I want you to write this down. Take profits often. Everybody write this down, pen and paper. Take profits often and siphon from the business. Siphon from the business. What does siphon mean? What's siphon mean? Give me more.
When you siphon gas, like you're taking gas.
Yeah, you're taking it, you're pulling it, right? Now, what's the common advice? What's the common advice, guys, about what you should do with the profits?
Put it all back in.
Put it back into the business. I completely disagree. I'm unconventional in that. I say, take those profits, pull them, and then do what with them? Invest. Go buy real estate. Go buy the things that you want to buy, right? So there were years that my team was 70% profit, 7-0, because my team was running very, very efficiently, okay? And we used that money to go buy properties. Why? Because we figured out we don't need to any longer spend $7,500 a month on Zillow or whatever those things were, because we fine-tuned our marketing and got our approach down, so fine-tuned that we didn't need to spend flagrantly anymore. So your budgeting is key. The other thing is what is this section part, this pro forma? Somebody tell me, what is a pro forma? Anybody, pro forma? Anybody sell commercial? When it says pro forma, what's it mean?
Is it the budget for the overall project?
Okay, I'm gonna take that right there. Future, right there, boom. So, by the way, this is just a side note. For those of you who are ever looking to buy commercial property, you never buy on pro forma. In case you didn't know that, when an agent or a commercial broker says, this is the pro forma for the next 3 years, you never buy it based on what it could do. You buy it based on what it is doing. But for your purposes, you want to have a 1 to 5 year projection of what the business is going to be doing, right? So I'll give you an example. Years ago, raise your hand if you ever heard of Boomtown. Boomtown? Okay. So Boomtown was one of the first big CRMs, right? That was our first, probably maybe 12, 13 years ago, whenever it was. We used to go to something called Boomtown Connect, just a Boomtown convention every year. And I met a lot of team leaders who are friends of mine till this day. And the first time I met a team leader doing over $1 million in GCI was at that event. Somebody tell me, what does GCI stand for? I'm giving you this, ready? It's coming right at you. Here it comes, nice catch. All right, so they were doing $1 million in GCI. And at that time, I was probably doing 250 or 300, something like that, which was still phenomenal. But I was so enamored. I said, oh man, tell me more. And tell me, she goes, oh, listen, I'll meet you in the lobby and I'll tell you a little bit more. So we met the next morning in the lobby. We sat down on the couch. She starts telling me all about her team and how many agents and how many staff members and this and this and this and this. And I'm writing and I'm writing and I'm writing. And I'm looking, I'm going, these numbers don't crank. She's telling me how much she's selling and her average sale price. And I'm not that smart, but I'm looking, I'm going, something about this. So I said, let me ask you a question. So it looks like you're probably around maybe $100,000 gross profit. Like, is that about what we're looking at? She goes, yeah, give or take. And what's the first thing I thought of? What do you think I thought? What do you think I thought when I heard that?
He's running it wrong.
She's running it wrong, but what else?
No control.
I could do this on my own. If I just stayed solo, I could do that, right? Why build a team and have to babysit and go through all the drama? I could do that on my own. Part of it is because the projections weren't done correctly. You can't expand and have 10 agents on a team and 20 agents on a team just to make it look, glamorous. Don't start a team for glamour, please. Don't start a team for the aura and for what it looks like. Start a team because you're doing it correctly. So that's the pro forma part. Now, we talked about this before, so we don't have to beat it up too much. First step is your admin, your transaction coordinator. You could do both. I would recommend for those of you who are a little nervous about starting off having to pay somebody, start off with 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week, it's not that crazy, I promise you. 20 hours a week, but remember, when you hire that person, it's imperative that you tell them it's 20 hours a week today, but very quickly it will go to 40 hours. Why? Because I will make you this promise. Once you have this staff member on board, you're gonna love it. and you are going to want them to do everything, and you're going to say, come on, let's go as quickly as you can. And the next thing that's going to happen is that fear of the budget and the finances will go out the window because of their production. And then there's 20 more steps in this process. I'm giving you the nutshell version. And then the last thing is obviously bring on your first agent or agents and build slowly, okay? I have some of even my own coaching clients right now that built too quickly over the last year, right? They wanted to recruit a bunch of different agents from a bunch of different regions, and I'm trying to always pull people back and take it slow. And they think that I'm trying to stop progress, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to build correctly so that we don't have to release agents. All right, that's the traditional. See what at the top, by the way, where it says in blue, traditional? Question.
How did you find your Pam?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. Back then, the question is, how did I find my Pam, my rock star, okay? By the way, back then, there was no Indeed, okay? There was no Indeed. So I was using Craigslist. There was no social media, by the way. It was Craigslist. It was my CRM, so I was going into my database. I was calling all my past clients to see if anybody that they knew wanted a job, or if they themselves wanted a job. I was going to career fairs. I was doing a lot of the old school stuff to find Pam. Today, I help my clients find their Pam on social media and Indeed primarily. And it's not that difficult. Now, for you, when I'm saying $15 an hour, some of you might roll your eye. 15? Who are you going to get for $15 an hour? And some of you might say that's too much. I submit to you that $12 to $20 an hour for our region is probably the number, 12 to 20. 15 is a good, I think a good median, right? Did that answer your question? Good?
I was looking for the qualifications.
Oh, okay.
Using her.
Yeah, so now that was a little bit different. So for example, when I hired Pam, we had a spec sheet, okay? We had a core function list of things that we were looking for, right? Quality, traits, characteristics, experience, we had a list. Some of the very, very basic things that I wanted, and this is really important, 70 to 80 words a minute typed with limited errors, right? That might not sound like a big deal, but you need somebody that types quickly, okay? Even though a lot of assistants these days are speaking things anyway, but quick type, somebody that's attentive. Pam was a flight attendant, so she had exactly what we were looking for. She had that feistiness of that flight attendant, but also the nice. Like they can tell you, hey, sit down, put your seatbelt on, but they could also be sweet. And we liked that about Pam because she knew how to handle clients delicately, but also she could put up the barrier when a client was trying to cross the line. So those are some of the characteristics that we were looking for, okay? All right, so now we're gonna talk about, so that at the top, like I mentioned, top right-hand corner, traditional. Now we're gonna talk about the next. And so this is, again, not as popular of a team model, but this is how we build the solo. And so it's very simple. The first is, again, systems. Back to the same thing, we don't have to repeat it, systems in place. And the second part is to really perfect your calendar. So the way I've done this with my solo agents is this. I've got an agent at the top, and they're choosing to hire a group of assistants. So all we're simply doing is taking my client's calendar and making a perfect day schedule. So we're saying, okay, what would we like our day to look like? Even though we know things change often, right? Things will absolutely change. Things are gonna get shifted in between your day. It's gonna happen unequivocally. But if we created a perfect day, what would it look like? So we say, okay, 8 to 10 a.m., well, let's say 7:30 to 8:30 expired prospecting. And then we go, 8:30 to 10:30, sphere of influence prospecting. And then, so on and so on and so on. We build in lunch, we build in showing time, we build in listing time. All those different structures are there. And then what we're doing is we're simply placing each of these people into those roles. So we're just saying, okay, we need that. That's how we know how many hours we're going to need for this person. And by the way, these people that are handling these roles can be paid hourly. They can be paid in commissions. They can be paid in a combination of both. We're going to talk about that in a little while, okay? But really, it's just having your systems and having a really great calendar. Raise your hand if you use Google Calendar. Raise your hand. Good. Raise your hand if you use Google Calendar and you're utilizing it where you're actually accomplishing 95% on your calendar every day, including your to-dos. That's about right. Okay. So the point is a lot of times we take what's on our calendar and we don't accomplish it for that day, so we shift it to the next day. If it's not an appointment, it's a to-do, let's say, we just shift, we shift. Raise your hand and be honest if you have the word prospecting on your calendar at all. Prospecting on your calendar? Raise your hand if 50% of the time or more you ignore it and don't prospect. Raise your hand, right? Like that's a problem, okay? So when we talk about this model is going to allow you now to actually do the prospecting. So when I had Pam as an example, Pam would make sure that I prospected. How did she do that? She gave me the list. She told me who I was calling. She was at the CRM, open. She had the phone dialed. She handed me the phone. I had my headset. She was taking the notes. She had her headset. She was listening in. She's taking the notes. She's scheduling the next call. She's getting the next one ready to go. She hands me the phone. We go on and on and on. That's what we did. That's what we did. Now I've got Pam, which means I've got an accountability partner. I've got somebody that's sitting there knowing that I'm making calls. Can any of you tell me when, first of all, does anybody prospect on a pretty regular basis? Who does that? Who prospects pretty regularly? Michelle? Yeah. And okay, good. So when you, for those of you who do prospect, do you have a mode that you go into? Do you use an earpiece, a headset? Do you, like I have one of my clients, I call him Shades. He actually wears glasses on his forehead, on his head, and when he's making the calls, he puts them down. And he goes in, he's like a different persona. Anybody ever think that way? You do that? I call it showtime. Everybody do this. Everybody write this down. Write down showtime, showtime, showtime. This is just a little sidebar. I told you we're going down bunny trails. And now everybody do me a favor. Take your hands like this. Ready? Everybody hands in front, put your pens down. Everybody do this, do this, do this. Ready? Showtime. No. Mean it. Louder. Showtime. I would do that to myself like a moron before every listing presentation in the car. Showtime. And the clients are looking at me like, do we want to let this guy in the house, right? So you want to be in showtime mode when you're doing that prospecting. So the point is, when I had Pam, it was another level of prospecting. Why? Why do you think I was like in like beast mode with prospecting? Don't overthink it. Why?
Because you only had one job.
Yeah, I had one job, but why else?
You made it fun.
I made it fun, but come on.
Because that was the whole point.
Yeah, accountability. She's sitting next to me. I can't look like a moron. I can't not get that lead. So if Pam is sitting next to me like, hey Bob, listen, I know you told me that you're thinking about September. Man, like this is an unbelievable time. There's 3 listings on the market in 1 square mile of your house. This is the time to do it. And I'm like pushing, like I'm selling like a cheesy salesman, right? Because I want to get that appointment. I want to get that listing, and I want to walk in and get that business. And Pam was there to watch it. And the best part is, she's there to watch it, and then she's there to come with me on the presentation and watch me close it, bring it back. She's there to watch me collect the commission, get paid out on it. She can see the whole thing, and it's impressive and it's fun, right? Question?
That's the thing. It's like I know that some people say like, oh, I have no problem being your assistant. Like I don't want to be in the limelight, but sometimes after seeing so much success, then they want to be that front runner. So did you lose Pam to that? Because that's
okay. The only time I lost Pam was when Pam decided that she wanted to become an agent because of that exact reason. Pam became an agent for 1 year, sold 12 houses in her first year, which I thought was wonderful. But then she decided that real estate wasn't for her. And then what did she do? She came right back, and we had a great time for the rest of the time, right? So, but to answer your question, you want to let people fly. You want to let people fly, guys. So you don't want to hold people back, obviously, right? If Pam wanted to go out on her own and do her thing, great. If Tom, the agent on my team, wanted to go out on his own and do his thing, it is what it is, right? So that's the deal. All right, so that's the solo part, and then we talked about the perfect day here too. All right, so I forgot to mention. Sorry, guys. The middle part, the support part. So again, that's that admin. So I missed that section. Perfect your systems, have your admin, you still need your admin support, and then your perfect day schedule that I was mentioning before. Sorry about that. All right, next is splits. So let's talk about money, okay? So let's get one person from team A, one person from team B. Quick, come on. Hurry, this is for a prize. We're giving away a Think and Grow Rich. Somebody over here, come on, quick. Come on down, right here, represent. All right? This particular contest is a gun show. Show your guns, guys. Whoever has the biggest guns. I'm kidding. All right. For a Think and Grow Rich book, what is the average commission split for a team member in America?
50-50. 50-50.
I did hear a buzzer here first that was easy first. And you said 50-50, and Samuel, that is correct for the book. 50-50. Ladies and gentlemen, 50-50 for the guys, everybody. 50-50. Whether you like it or not, whether you agree or disagree, 50-50 is a starting point. For many good teams in America, it's even lower, where the agent's getting a 40 and the team or the team leader is getting 60, right? And I'm not saying if that's good, bad, or ugly. I just know what it costs to run a team and to do it really well and efficiently, okay? So the bottom line is 50-50 is a typical split. But the first part we talked about before is your admin, right? Back to that $15, give or take. Transaction coordinator could run you around the same unless you decide on the per unit model. Now let me be clear about the per unit model. My range, good. Question?
50-50 split, is that progress based on production?
Say just a little louder.
The 50-50 split.
Yep.
And when you ran your team, did that stay constant or did it progress based on production?
Yep, and we're going to talk about that. It's a good question. Did it stay at 50-50 or did the production from that agent, that team agent, cause the split for them to go up higher? And the answer is yes. And I'm going to show you a little bit about that, yeah. So 50-50 is a starting point, is a general starting point, okay? So back to the transaction coordinator, $300 to $500 per transaction is what I see nationally from my clients. But this is not rentals. This does not include rentals. Rentals, then we might do $50, just a smaller fee. And the transaction coordination we're talking about is full blown, whether it's per unit or by the hour. I like by the hour because I want a full-time person doing this and handling my clients. For some of you, depending on your production, if you're not selling 30, 40, 50 houses a year or a lot more, you might say, you know what, let me start off with the unit model so I don't have an employee yet or I don't have a staff member yet, okay? So just a thought. All right, so that's the admin side. And by the way, there are plenty other admin. Let me just say one other thing before I take a question. Joe, as an example, my team technician, was getting $100 a house. So every time we had a home, he'd get $100 to do sign lockbox photos and videos, and that was it. That was just a simple model like that. This was just a side hustle for him. I had a question.
Sorry, it can go either way, I guess, but for the TC, that rate on there, whether it's the full dollar amount or the hourly, was that what you're charging back the agent for managing it for the team, or is that what you're paying out?
This is what they're paying. This is what the transaction coordinator is getting paid. Now, yeah, whether it's the team, whether it's the team leader, that's up to the team model to decide that, right? So for example, some of my clients around the country, each individual team agent pays either the full or a portion of that transaction fee. Sometimes the team leader pays it, sometimes they split it. It's all over the place. There's no specific rhyme or reason on that, right? But the key is just making sure you have that person in place and that person is working for your team. There are transaction coordinators that will work for many companies. I don't love that model because that's where the transactions can start to get sloppy and not personal. So that's just my own opinion. All right, let's go over some of the benefits. Now, again, this is not rocket science. We already talked about some of these things. Time is the key, in my opinion. Time is without a doubt the number one benefit, okay? The next is the additional income. Remember I told you before, the extra money is the byproduct of starting the team, and it will flow freely when you're running a really good team. Another is your days off and vacation. So we're gonna stop there and have a little fun right now. All right, everybody right now, stand up, please. Everybody stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Let's take a quick stretch. Can I get a time check? Okay, all right. So we're doing good. Everybody take a stretch. Stretch real good, stretch real good. Give a stretch, fantastic. All right, I want everybody right now to remain standing if you have the following: a day off every week that is consistent and the same each week. Stay standing if you have a day off. And I want you to be able to demonstrate that to me. I'll ask you some questions. Remain standing if you have a day off. Just very simple. Stay standing if you have a day off that's consistent. Very simple. Okay, are we settled? Some people are standing, they're sitting, I'm not sure. Okay, if you are an admin, you can sit because this is just gonna be for the agents for now. All right, here we go. All right, let's go from this, we'll go front to back. What is your day off?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Monday.
Monday.
Friday.
Friday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Sunday.
Monday.
Sunday.
Fantastic. Stay standing. Stay standing. If you're standing and on your day off, you check voicemails, texts, and emails pertaining to work. Sit down if you check voicemails, emails, and texts pertaining to work. Sit down if you check voicemails, emails, and texts pertaining to work. Okay, I've got, how many remaining? I got 2 remaining. Okay, ladies, for your day off, have you ever shown a property, gone on a listing presentation, taken a call, and just said, honey, I just need to take just this one call? Have you ever done that, yes or no? Okay, I'm gonna have you sit. Have you ever done it? Be honest. Is it yes or no?
I did it yesterday.
Okay, sit down. All right, I like it. I like it. All right, round of applause for everybody who stood. That's good, that's good. All right. So remember I told you when we started that we're gonna go on bunny trails. This is one of those really important bunny trails. This is gonna be the stuff that's contrary to the way we might have learned it in real estate, but it's completely the way we should be doing it, okay? Now, I don't want to go too biblical on you, but you know, I believe in the Bible, I believe in Jesus Christ, and so I take the Bible seriously, and so my wife and I work 6 days and we rest on one, right? We take Sabbath. Now, our Sabbath is Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown. We are not Jewish, but we just follow what we believe to be biblical. Okay, put that aside. Once I started doing that, because my day off used to be Wednesday, once I started doing that, I started having the whole team shut down Friday night to Saturday night sundown. Let me explain this to you. No voicemails, no texts, no emails, no showings, no listing presentations, no nothing, period. And if they did it, they were kindly released from the team. Why? Why?
So you can focus more on the days you work.
If God could rest on one day, and Jesus was resting on one day, why can't we do it? Now, separate from that, separate from the Bible, let's just make this real for a second. If you're not taking a day off, you're not giving your body rest, you're not giving your brain rest. How many days off does the average American have a year? 2. Why can't you have one? And that's not rhetorical. Why can't you have one? I'm asking, why?
Because our clients
Well,
work.
we're,
Hold on. Let's have this answer first, because this is the heart of the matter. Everybody listen carefully. Why?
Because our clients is mainly available on Saturday and Sunday.
Fine. Why else can't we have a day off?
we're running our own business.
You're running your business. You're running your business, so you cannot shut your business down because we're running our business. Why else can't we have a day off? Why do you, what reason do you tell yourself that you can't have a day off?
If you're off, somebody's taking your business.
Perfect. My business is gone. My commissions are going to be gone. Somebody else tell me, why can't you have a day off? You know it. What's the reason in your heart? Why are you not taking a day off? Crazy market? Why else?
That nobody can run your business the way you run.
Nope. That's the control freak in us. Nobody can run. It's got to be me, right? Okay, I want to tell you something. And this is, I don't want this to sound the wrong way. We were blessed richly when we started taking our day off. Our business went up 25% the following year. How and why? And I'm not gonna say God for a second, because I don't want, I want you to just think of the real estate aspect. Why? Somebody go, spit it out.
You put a human element to being
What does that mean? What does it mean?
more people to when we need a break.
We need a break, right? We're showing them we need a break. So I'm gonna, before I take the other 2 answers, I want everybody to do me a favor. I want everybody to close your eyes right now. Close your eyes. Just close your eyes. I can see you. I'm looking at you. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. It's okay. You're allowed to close your eyes for just a minute. You're allowed. If you have ever said to anybody, I work 365 days, 24/7, or if you have heard anybody say that, but specifically if you ever say that to your clients, I need you to remove that from your vocabulary. Everybody open your eyes. Stop saying that. What does that tell your clients for real if you're saying that? You're always available. What does it really tell them? There's no boundaries. What else? They can call whenever they want, but what else is it really telling?
You're out of control.
Out of control. You've got no boundaries. You don't care about your family. You don't care about your friends. You don't care. What's your name? Andrew, can you help me? Can you come up to the board, Andrew? Andrew, come on. Everybody, round of applause for Andrew. All right, Andrew, I'm gonna have you open up to the next page. Just flip that right over. All right, Andrew's gonna do an exercise with me, okay? Andrew, you're gonna be the writer, okay?
All right, to me.
No, I don't care. It's good. All right, we're gonna do a little exercise together, okay? How many hours in the day, ladies and gentlemen? Andrew, let's start with 24. How many hours on average do we sleep? Just ballpark. 6, 8, can we say 7? Can we say 7? All right. Minus 7, how many's left? 17. Okay, and let's do this. I didn't say it, I apologize. Let's cross this off, let's go down like that. You're the man. So now we're down to 17. Okay, how many hours do we work in real estate on average? 6, 8. Can we say 8? Minus 8. And what we're going to do is next to the 7, we're going to put here sleep. And next to 8, we're going to put work. When we get home from work, some people like to go and play games on the computer. Some people like to play Xbox. Some people watch TV. Some people like to play around doing whatever they're doing. How much playtime in a day, like the nonsensical stuff? How much? 2 hours? Anybody? 2? 2? I'm not going 6. For anybody who said 6, get the hell out of the room. Who said 6? You gotta go. You gotta go. Carl, start watching that guy right there. All right, let's go minus 6. Oh, no, minus, no, what's it mean? Minus 2. Minus 2 for play. All right. Eating. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. How much time? Hour combined? Hour combined, or is it 2 hours? 2? Let's go 1. Let's just average it 1. Minus 1. All right, you got to keep track of me. So we got to yeah. So
17.
Yep, 17. Minus 8
9.
is 9. Hold up. Minus 2
7.
is 7.
Minus
1 is 6. Okay. Okay. You ready? Everybody, stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. What else are we doing in a day? Commuting. How much time? When we say commuting, how much time commuting? Hour. 2 hours. I got an hour over here. I got 2 hours over here. I got 3. No, 3. Let's go minus 2. Minus 2. Wherever. To work, to show, to this. Who knows? You're at the showings. You got to come home. You're on a listing appointment. You got to come home. Who knows? Okay, 4. We're at 4. What else are we doing throughout the day? Family, social media. Oh, social media. How much time on social media? How much time on social media? Don't you say 6. Don't say 6 hours. 4. He says 4. Can I get a 1 hour?
Yes.
2? Raise your hand for 2. Raise your hand for 2. All right, I got 2. Minus 2. Minus 2. Okay. What else do we have throughout the day? Oh, wait. Workout, hair appointment. All right, let's do miscellaneous. Let's do miscellaneous 1 hour. Minus 1 hour. Minus 1 hour. Hold on. Listen, that's going to be hair. And there's a lot of people got their hair done. I like it. Looks good. All right. So what's remaining? All right. Put a 1 here and circle it real big. Big giant 1. Okay? Wait a second. That's going to be part of the eating. I'm going to make cooking part of the eating. Okay? All right. Everybody, round of applause for Andrew. Round of applause for Andrew. Now, Andrew, take a prize. Book, candy, I don't care. All right. He got the last. Wait, which one did you just get? Rich Dad. You get the last Rich Dad, Poor Dad. All right. Ready, everybody? Who gets that last 1 hour? Spouse, kids. We call that, everybody write this down, stop giving our loved ones, write this down guys, pen and paper. It's going to sound like crazy, but this is a golden nugget I'm giving you. Stop giving your loved ones the crumbs. Stop giving your loved ones the crumbs. This is a great bunny trail for us to be going down today. Because real estate is the reason that we're neglecting our marriages, for those of you who are married, our health, our lives, all the different things. It steals a lot of that down. By you taking a day off, a true day off, you're saying to your loved ones, your spouse, I care about you. And when you take that day off, do it as I prescribe right now. Your phone in Do Not Disturb for the entire day, placed in your home office if you have one, in the down position, and don't look at it for the day. Everybody write this down. Plan a day off, pen and paper guys, plan a day off, and now A, B, C, D. Everybody, pen and paper, plan a day off, A, B, C, D. A, block it out on your calendar as the full appointment. Block it out on your calendar as a full appointment. So if you're gonna take Wednesday as an example, you're going into your calendar, you're putting 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and you're making it whatever color your normal appointment is. And you're blocking it out as busy for those of you who use automated calendars and automated scheduling so your client can see your calendar. So you're doing it that way. Okay, the next thing I want you to write down is keep it consistent. Keep it consistent. So B is keep it consistent. I know you didn't come here today to talk about taking a day off, but you need to hear it. It's important. Keep it consistent. Why do we need to keep our day off consistent? Well, not only to have it, but now think about business.
You're training people how to treat you.
Say it loud. Say it loud.
You're
training people how to treat you.
Okay, I like to say conditioning. We are training our clients, we're conditioning our clients in the way in which we do business. You are not taking a Zillow lead and they say, hey, can I see a house on Wednesday? And you say, oh, I'm sorry, that's my day off. No, you're not gonna do it that way because you're gonna have a consultation, you're gonna do the things necessary to explain to them, and once they understand you're a human being, they're gonna select a different day to see those homes. And if they can't select a different day, you have team members, you have other agents in the office that will help you. But your day off is non-negotiable. Question?
Do you also have a suggested time where you not take calls, like
Yeah.
after 7 or after?
Yeah. So Courtney's asking, so the question is do you have a limit that you stop? For me, in the beginning, the first 10 years of my career, there was no limit, no boundaries, all hours of the day. I almost lost my marriage over it. It was really bad because I was just all in for my client, but not all in for God or my wife. That was the problem. 7:30 was the cutoff. So once I got my act together, 7:30 was the cutoff. There were rare exceptions where if I started a listing presentation at 6 and I got home at 8 or 8:30, Melody was mad at me, but she understood. It was rare, it didn't happen all the time. So that's the, did that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that was B. So somebody read A, somebody read B.
Phone on do not disturb and in a separate office.
And what's B?
Block it on the calendar and keep it consistent.
All right, C, everybody write down C. Make plans, make plans. So for your day off, I'm gonna make you this guarantee. If your calendar says off, and it says nothing else, what will you almost inevitably do? Work. Because what is your brain actually doing? What's your brain doing? Your brain is processing those written goals. It's processing your budget. It's telling you what it needs to do. If you're not keeping it busy with something else, then it's gonna do the work. Just hang on for one quick second and we're gonna take that question. Everybody write down D. Pay for your plans. Pay for your plans. So for example, Melody and I, we are season ticket holders for the New York Jets. Less Aaron Rodgers. Oh, so painful. So painful. We're still gonna win the Super Bowl. We still already purchased our Super Bowl tickets. I digress. Okay, I digress. All right, let me have the crowd settle down because half of you are Giants fans, I'm sure. All right, hang on, I got 2 questions in 1 second. So when I say pay for, I'm telling you, that gets you to do what? By paying for it, it gets you to do what? Commit. You're committing. Plus, if I say to Melody, all right, let's do this. What is your name? Helena, can you come with me? Helena, everybody, round of applause for Helena. Helena, take a piece of candy. All right, Helena, congratulations, you now have a name change. Your name is Melody. You are my wife. Come stand here, my wife. My beautiful wife. By the way, I call Melody my princess. So she's always my princess, right? So I say, Melody, babe, so Saturday, how about we go do blah, blah, blah. Whatever that thing is. You wanna go to the park, you wanna go do something, whatever it is. Babe, what do you wanna do on Saturday?
I would like to go to the water park.
Ooh, water park. So we're gonna do that new indoor water park, and then maybe we'll go hit the, the little restaurant. Well,
Yeah, we'll
good.
get some food.
Done. Sounds good. What time do you want to go on Saturday?
We could leave the house about 10.
10 o'clock. Fantastic. All right. Now we're gonna fast forward. We did that 2 weeks ago. Okay, 2 weeks earlier we had that conversation. Now the Saturday's fast approaching, and I say, babe, got this thing that came up, my client, Tom, that I was telling you about. No, but just listen, just here. Can we just do the water park like next Saturday, and then we're just this one time, I got this, blah, blah, blah. Is that, anybody ever have a conversation that looks or feels like that with your spouse? Raise your hand ever in your life, okay? All right, Helena. Everybody round of applause for Helena, okay? So, that is what you don't want to do. That is exactly what you don't want to do. What you want to do is fulfill what you said you were going to do with your spouse, okay? Now, the other part, well, let me answer the other 2 questions first, and then we'll keep going. You had a question, and we had one over here.
Yeah, you were saying that, say if you're speaking with a client and you're off on Wednesdays, you delegate that to like another team member or something like that.
If we're off on Wednesday, like in my model, we were off on Saturdays, and everybody was off on Saturdays.
Okay, so how did you handle that if your whole team
We didn't.
was off?
We did. That was the beautiful part. We didn't. I was trusting in God that everything was going to be okay, and it was more than okay. So I'm not here telling you to do my model, okay? I'm just telling you what we did. and you're going to do what you're going to do. But for the majority of agents, they're taking a day off that's staggered with other team members or with their partnered agents. So for those of you who are solo and want to remain solo forever, you're just having a partner that's got a different day off, and you're just making sure that you have a system set up. I have a whole training that I do with my clients on this. It's extensive because you have to set up systems in order for this to work flawlessly, okay? There was another question. Did I answer that question? Yeah. Okay, question over here?
Yeah, with the whole phone thing, putting it down for the whole day, et cetera. So would you have two separate lines or phones?
We have my wife's phone. My wife's phone.
Okay.
Yeah, so and we're going to talk a little bit more on that second part. See, what does it say next to day off, guys? What's it say? Vacation. 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 All right, so now let's have a little fun. Let's have a little fun. Everybody stand up. Everybody stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Come on. Give me some energy. Give me the juice. Give me the juice. All right, ready? Remain standing if in the last full year, last 12 months, you took a vacation of 7 days or longer. Remain standing. 7 days or longer, not that bad, not that crazy. 7 days or longer, stay standing. Now remember, this is an honesty game, okay? If you're lying, you're only lying to yourself. The people in the room don't care. You ready? Watch this. Remain standing, you know where we're going. If during that 7 days, you didn't check your phone, text, emails, voicemails, you didn't call into your team, your office, no work, period, end of story. And you have to be willing, to let me call your spouse or your loved one right now live. I'm kidding. I won't really do it. All right, so for the rest of you that are standing, stay standing for a second. Okay, now, stay standing if your phone did not go with you. Stay standing if your phone did not go with you. Did you take your phone on vacation or did you leave it at home? You're going to say, yep, you did great. All right, so I'm going to prescribe something to you that's going to sound really raw, really ridiculous, and it's not going to make sense, but it will if you try it, okay? Let me rewind for a quick second. I sat in a room a long time ago. This is probably my 5th, 6th, 7th year in the business. A mortgage rep had invited me to an event. It's a room about this size where there were several lenders speaking. They were trying to sell us on whatever they were trying to sell us on. There was a title rep there. They were great company. These companies were awesome. And they brought in a speaker. And the speaker was talking about taking a day off. Not vacation. This was a day off. And she said some of the things that I told you today. And all the realtors in the room, what do you think they were doing when this woman was telling us about a day off? For real. What do you think we were doing? Ridiculous. By the way, no, we were not texting, by the way, because remember, we had the Nokia 6310s back then, right? So we weren't, they weren't even the flip phones. We had the box, the little box. Who had a 6310? Anybody have the that one Nokia? Yeah. You got to press the button 3 times for the text, for the N, or for the, that one. So we weren't really texting, but the point is, what we were doing was rolling our eyes. And what would be the significance of rolling your eyes? You didn't believe it. Raise your hand. Let's just be honest and ballsy today with each other. I have no problem with that. Raise your hand if you think the day off nonsense that I just fed you was complete garbage, complete nonsense, and a farce. Raise your hand. Be honest. So you really all believe you can do it?
No, I can't do the do not disturb.
Okay, raise your hand in the way I prescribed it if you think it's crazy. Just be honest. Raise your hand. A few of you? Okay, fine. I'll take it. Now we'll talk about the vacation. So the vacation, I want to tell you the story because the story, I want it to be cemented in your heads forever, and I'm hoping to maybe pinch a nerve because maybe some of you have had this happen before. Raise your hand if you are married or have a significant other. Keep your hands up high, I want to see. Okay, hands down, thank you. Melody and I, we've gone on over 100 trips together. We've been on 37 cruises to 40 different countries. That's how we found the island of Curacao. We actually used the cruises to pick our island, right? So one of our first few vacations, maybe like the top 5 or 6 vacations that we were on, was to Disney. Went to Disney World in Florida. And at that time, when we were going on vacations, I carried with me one of those little police spiral notebooks. Can you picture what I'm talking about? The little one that fit in your hand? And our deal was, at that time, by the way, I had a flip phone. I did advance to the flip, okay? Our deal was I could check the phone twice a day, at 12 o'clock and at 4 o'clock. That was our deal, 12 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Because when a woman says something, she means that thing, right? That's cemented, right? We have that agreed to. So she said 12 and 4. So I'll never forget it. I want you to picture this. We're in Disney. We're at Epcot. We're in front of the big ball, you know, that big giant white ball. Anybody ever been there? Okay. And there's a big black gate in that area, and there's like little shops. So I said, babe, it's 12 o'clock. I'm going to hit the phone. Let me check my voicemail, see what's going on. Why don't you hit the shops or whatever? So she said, okay. So she hits the shops. She's in the store, and I'm sitting there taking down my messages. I had 5 messages. I'll never forget it. 5 voicemails. I'm writing them down. As I'm writing down the voicemails, I turn around and I peek over at Melody. She's like in the distance. And I looked at her, and she had this look of, disappointment is the word. She was very disappointed in me, sorry. And so she looked at me, and I looked at her, and I just knew. I said, this is it, last time. And I closed the book, I shut the phone, I put it in my pocket, and I went up to Melody, I gave her a kiss, I gave her a hug. I said, you are my princess, I love you. And this is the last time I will check my phone on vacation, and I'm never bringing the phone on vacation again. So I made that commitment, and from that vacation forward, every single time we went away, it was without the phone. And I want to explain this to you. I would get in the car, I would drive from exit 105, where we lived at that time, or exit 114, and I would drive, and I would go to Homedale, go to Pam's house. I would take the phone and my lockbox key. At the time I had the lockbox key. Anybody remember those keys? You had to punch them in. They weren't on the phones at that time. And I had my wire charger. Those 3 things were in a ShopRite bag in her mailbox. And then I left. And we went on 10 days. Our longest trip was 37 days, 28 days, 10 days, 14 days, all sorts of crazy trips without the phone. I didn't know what deals were falling apart, what deals were being put together. I had no knowledge of any of it because I was all in on Melody. Now, it drove her crazy because I was all in on Melody, so she had all of me, and she didn't want all of me. Hey, Mike, why don't you go play trivia on the cruise, or why don't you go do that? That's how I took up metal detecting, by the way, when we go away on beach vacations. Anyway, so raise your hand if you've ever had a time where on vacation you were checking your voicemail, doing business, and felt a little uncomfortable knowing that your spouse didn't appreciate it. Raise your hand if you ever had that happen. The reason that you have that is because your spouse doesn't appreciate it. No matter what they say, no matter what they tell you, no matter what agreement you make, they don't like it, and it's beneath them. It's beneath you. So I want to give you one more example, okay? I want to pretend this is the phone, for example, okay? I want to give you one more thing, and this is just me now talking about some other fundamentals of real estate that I learned over the years that were very important. This is the phone. Raise your hand if you've ever done anything like this with your spouse, okay? Pruvi, you're going to be my spouse for a second, okay? We're having a conversation, and my phone rings, and we're talking. So babe, hang on, babe, real quick, just one quick second. Yeah.
They can't wait.
So, listen. Or this one. I'm talking with my wife, and go ahead, babe. And I'm texting.
I'm talking to you. You're not paying attention.
Raise your hand if you've ever done that to your spouse. Be honest. Raise your hand if you've ever done it to your spouse or your loved one. Raise your hand. Put your hands down. Raise your hand if you've ever had it done to you. How do you feel when it's being done to you? Pissed? Come on, say it. How do you feel? Annoyed, pissed, what else? What else? Unappreciated, okay? So I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. As much as when Melody's talking to me, as much as it pains me because I wanna check whatever that message was or the last thing I was doing on a phone, let's say, I'm still looking at my wife. I put the phone down because I want her to know she has my attention. It took me years to break that cycle with the phone. It took me years. It's an addiction. So just remember that. I know we went off on a tangent. Let's keep going. So benefits from a team leader standpoint and for agents, freedom, collaboration, synergy. Give me one way a team has synergy. Give me one way a team gives and builds synergy. One way. One way. Tara, you did it this morning. What did you do this morning with your team? But what were you doing? What's it called?
Daily huddle.
Daily huddle. What's a daily huddle? What is it? What is it?
Everybody gets together, talk about what you're grateful for, what you have,
Nice and loud. What you're grateful for? Go ahead.
what you have planned for the day, and everybody
15.
Puts their input on how they can assist or what they suggest
When you're in the team huddle, it builds synergy. Maybe somebody heard something, maybe you learned something, maybe somebody else gave you a different approach to a transaction or what somebody's doing in their life. Those are all things that are great. Everybody write this down, pen and paper, put 60 seconds of good news, 60 seconds of good news. I would always have on my agenda for whether I was doing a daily huddle or when I was having a team meeting, 60 seconds of good news. So I would literally go, okay, set the timer. I had these easy buttons, I had timers, and we'd hit the buzzer, and I would say, go, 60 seconds of good news. It can be personal, business, it doesn't matter, but you gotta tell us something good. The whole point of the team is to have that synergy approach. Now, so benefits of the team for the team members, very similar, but we start off with that first one. Somebody read that first one out loud, top left, what does it say? Growth trajectory. When I started in 1987 in real estate, there were really just a couple of teams at Weichert. It really wasn't a thing back then, right? It was a two-person team, these two guys that were just really great. They were up in North Jersey, like further north than this, and they were killing it. But there wasn't a real team structure. If I coming into real estate had the ability to join a team, I would have done it. I would have easily done that because of all the things that a team could give, a good team, okay? Expertise, leads, systems, scripts, dialogues, collaboration. Think about this for a quick second. Let me give you an example. We have our team meetings, okay? So if you ever build a team, if you decide to build your own team, or if you have a team now and you want to implement this, this is a good idea. As part of your team meetings, one of the things that we would do is review all the transactions. So Suzanne, we call it Suzanne Spotlight. Suzanne would have 5 or 10 minutes and she would say, okay, everybody, 123 Main Street, everything's going good with it, inspections are done, appraisals finished, deposits are in, the buyer shopping for homeowners insurance, whatever the steps were, she would label those and just speak them out loud. She would say, we had an issue with the septic and this is how it was resolved. And then the agent might jump in and say, yeah, and this is what happened during that, blah, 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 blah. While that agent is speaking, while Suzanne's speaking, what's happening with the rest of the group? What do you think's happening? Besides the group being a little bored, what's happening?
They're learning the transaction.
They're learning. They're going, okay, so that's how you handled that septic issue. That's how this was negotiated out. You got them to pay for this, but not that. This, okay, I didn't think about that method. So we'd always break down, we called it the dichotomy of a transaction. We would always break down the transaction in small bits and try to solve the problem. We dissect it, solve the problem, okay? All right, and then we have, of course, the synergy. We talked about days off and vacation coverage. So again, if you have a team and your team leader is doing it right, they allow you to go on vacation and you keep your phone with another team member. How about that? That's how that works. You cover each other. A true team is a true team. Let me give you a couple of examples. And none of these examples I'm going to tell you are to toot the horn of my team. I'm just trying to, again, get in your heads, okay? What is a team? When you think about a real team, what is it? That's like your work family. Those are your people. Were you gonna ask a question?
I was like, yes, people you can rely on.
Yeah, people you can rely on, okay? So I'll give you an example. And I'll leave the names nameless, okay? When one of our team members was getting divorced, the team provided a condominium for that team member to live in. So long as they were working with the team, they paid no rent. When one of our team members had a heart aneurysm, every agent on the team donated their next commission to the tune of $45,000 to that agent and to the family. And we set up a 3-month meal train where my agent's wife thought about nothing but my agent. When one of my agent's daughters got cancer, every agent on the team donated. Every agent on the team spent 3 or 4 hours a week with the family at the hospital, at CHOP in Philadelphia. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about a team. I want you to think about team as monetary, right? You're helping each other, but then you come alongside each other. You don't just say, oh, we're forming a team or I'm on a team. It's not what have you done for me lately, it's what can I do for you now. It's always that mindset. So we know, everyone understands, right? You know, you give, you get back. We all understand that mantra, right? But if you really, really live it that way, that synergy that we're talking about, that collaboration, goes to a whole new level because every agent is earning each other's what? Trust and what's the R word? Respect. We respect each other. We might not always agree on things, but we love each other. I mean, I love my team members. I have a big picture hanging up on my wall in my coaching office of my team. We're all wearing our team shirts, and I look at that picture, and I miss my team. And the day that I sold my business and Rob Dekansky's team bought it, my team was sitting there. We're sitting across the table. I mean, I'm a little baby. I mean, I cried at the closing table. I was upset. I'm like, this is like weird for me because these are my people, and now all of a sudden, They're not here tomorrow, right? It's a strange thing. And then of course money, right? And this is both for the team, the agent on the team and the team leader. Money is a benefit on both sides. Okay, so those are some of the benefits. And now, this is the question. Should you stay or should you go? If you're on a team, should you stay, should you go, right? You know, of course, my advice, I mentioned it earlier. If you're on a team and the team is successful and it's doing well and it feels good, don't leave. Don't leave, because the grass is always greener on the other side, is what I always tell people. This grass is always greener, right? When you get there, you go, there's some brown spots here, and this needs some seed over here. That's going to cost money. And hold on a second, I need to buy a weed whacker because my old team member had the weed whacker, and I need a lawnmower. I need a landscape service. The grass is not always greener, trust me. So you have to decide. Okay, so how long should you stay? Is it a matter of length of time? I don't know. I have some of my teams where the team agents, the team members have been there for 12, 13, 14 years. I haven't been coaching that long, but they've been in existence longer than I've been coaching. And they don't go because the structure is so beautiful, it's so brilliant, the synergy is amazing. So that's up to you to decide. The first part you'll see, advice coming out of real estate school. I train, it's my pleasure and my privilege to donate coaching once a month to a real estate class in Monmouth County. I love to do it because my friend Barbara, who's the teacher in the class, she's an instructor, she's trying to educate a new generation of realtors on ethics, getting everybody to act honorably, ethically. I love that model, so I told her whenever she has a class, I want to coach for free the last day of the class, and I want to do a 5-hour session. So do a 5-hour session. We start at 6 o'clock, we go to 11, and then I stay on as late as the last person is asking questions, so sometimes till 1 or 2 in the morning. And it's my heart's desire, I love it. But the point is I give them 3 pieces of advice when they're coming into real estate, meaning when they're thinking about joining a brokerage. Join a boutique agency, a local boutique agency, if you can get somebody. This is not in any particular order, I just did the 3 and I'll tell you my favorite. Join a boutique agency, because if you can latch on to somebody local and they could be your mentor, fantastic. Number 2, join a good company like a Remax, a Keller, an EXP where you can be on a decent split. Number 3, join a good, successful team. Those are the 3. And then I make it clear to them. If I were you today, I would join a team. And this is not me trying to sway from EXP or Keller or Remax. I say, listen, join a team at a successful brokerage. That's going to be a good model for you. That's always my advice, okay? And then the next part is the top agent story. I already told you the top agent story, where my top agent went out, left on his own, and then went, right? It took him 3 years to build back up to the $255,000. How do you think I know? He came back to me as what? A coaching client. A coaching client, because I had to train him how to build his team again. And now, where he is today, individual agent. Individual agent. He realized he's not a leader, he's a real estate agent. And that might be the case for some people, right? It is what it is. Okay, so should you stay, should you go? The way I look at this is, this is for the team leaders. If you have an agent on the team that is doing phenomenally well, and you know it's time for them to go, let them go, encourage them to go. But only if you think they can survive on their own and thrive on their own. If you don't think that, have the conversation during a one-on-one anyway, but let them know that you think they're going to be better off on your team. So that you let them know you care about them, but that you've evaluated that personally without them having to come to you and evaluate it. And then you have to always ask why. So if you're on a team, why should you remain on the team, right? Always ask yourself that question, why am I here? And for my agents, I would ask them that on the one-on-ones. Once a year, I'd say, why are you still on the team? What's the reason you're still with me? And people would say, Mike, why do you ask that question? Isn't that going to encourage people to want to go? No, I want to know, like, what's causing you to stay? My agents and my staff stayed a long time. And we loved what we heard about that synergy and the companionship, and not just the leads and the structure and the discipline and the support and all those things that a good team does, but the personal stuff, right? And for those of you who are in the Remax Mastermind, the Elite Mastermind that we're going to be having later, we're going to be diving a little deeper into that. Okay, here we go. Final nuggets, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A, okay? Final nuggets. We mentioned this before, you already wrote it down. Build your business to sell it. When I said that before, what does that mean? What does it mean? What's it mean?
Well, more importantly, have it operate without you having to be there.
Okay, so that's good. Have it operating without you having to be there. What else?
You're putting value on all the work you did.
Okay, putting a value on all the work you did. but having the, what's the S word we talked about before? Having the S word, what is it? You have to have what? Systems. Having the systems is what makes their value there. So let me give you a quick example, okay? Melody and I owned multifamilies years ago, okay? We sold all those multifamilies just 2 years ago in the height of the market, and we did a 1031 exchange, and we bought self-storage. So we now own 2 self-storage facilities in Texas, and we're working on buying another 2. The point of me telling you that is because we purchased those self-storage facilities at X. We put in place 5 or 6 new systems, including regular rental increases, administrative fees, insurance, tenant insurance, all these different things that we put in. As we put those fees in place and those systems in place, what did that do to the business? Made it more valuable. It made it more valuable to the tune of 30% more value in 1 year. We could sell the business for 30% more just because of those systems. So every single time you're putting in place something, a structure, so like anything you learned today as an example, you say, okay, East Brunswick, maybe, Old Bridge, a little Edison, a little Saraville, like that, and then Ocean, Toms River, and Brick. And that was it. But I preferred to just do Monmouth. So I set up referral relationships, and anytime I had clients going, like you would, referred it out. I had a husband and wife team in Ocean County. I'm going to leave them, okay? Tom and Sarah were my referral partners in Ocean County. I had a referral for them for a listing and a purchase. So I called Tom at his office, because back then we weren't all using cell phones. I know it sounds weird, but that's just what it was. And so I called Tom's office, and they said, oh no, he's not here. I said, all right, no problem. Do you know when he's coming back in? And they said, oh no, he retired from the business. I said, oh, that's awesome. Like, he was a little older. I was like, that's great. I was like so excited. So you know what? Let me call him at home. I had his home number, you know? Call and say, Tom, what's up, man? I go, how you doing? Like, and by the way, I had no idea. I was very naive, okay? I said, Tom, how's everything going? I said, I heard you retired from the business. I said, congratulations, that's great. And for you and Sarah. I said, so who'd you sell the business to? What'd you do? He goes, no, I just retired. And I go, oh, now I didn't say anything to him because I didn't want to make him feel bad, but I felt terrible. I got a gut punch. So right then and there, I made it my mission to start studying, start going to every conference that I could on retirement, on selling the team, exiting, all those different things. And again, this is another bunny trail, but I want this to be really an important message for you. And because of that conversation, it led me to always, every single thing I did in real estate, from as a solo agent to a leader, was always to build it so I never had that story to tell. I want to ask you all this question, okay? Can you all name, raise your hand if you could name 5 people, 5 real estate agents who have sold their business, not a building, sold their real estate business. Raise your hand if you could name 5 right now. Raise your hand. Isn't that scary? Isn't it a little scary, right? Like, raise your hand if you know 5 people that have retired from real estate. Anybody know 5 people that retired, that left the business? I mean, people leave the business all the time. So please don't be that agent. So that's the first nugget. I know we beat it up, but I want to beat it up good. The second is mastermind. Mastermind is critical. I credit a ton of my success to joining mastermind groups where we would go out to different parts of the country. We had a group of 14 agents. We would meet in different states 3 times a year, and we would meet on a Zoom before anyone even knew what a Zoom was. We met on Zoom every 2 weeks, and we'd have different topics, and we would collaborate, and we lifted each other, our business up and up and up. So I would highly recommend that you guys figure out a way to join a mastermind, and if you're trying to build a team, join a mastermind with a team your size, but maybe consider joining a mastermind with teams larger than yours so that you can aspire to be a little bit better if you desire to get to that level. And then the last one right now is obviously, if you're going to decide to build a team, be part of a team, just consult with your loved ones, consult with your trusted advisors, consult with the people around you. Make a good decision, not on your own, is the best advice I can give you. So these are some basic tips and nuggets that I want to give you to wrap it up. And now I open up for Q&A. So any question about building a team, joining a team, starting a team, or any real estate topic at all, who's going first? Questions? Questions? I got 2 here, so let's start here.
What are your recommendations in regards to if you're doing a team, keeping the business under the team lead or keeping it under as the agent conducting the business? So
did everybody hear the question? Keep it under the team leader's name or spread it out. So the way I would interview agents as I was interviewing them for the team, and again, we had a small team, I would say, Sue, let me ask you a question, and this would be one of the many questions I would ask. Sue, how's your ego? What kind of question is that? I say, how's your ego? Well, I got a normal ego. I said, well, if your name wasn't on anything, would you be upset? If you were making a lot of money, but your name wasn't on anything, would you be upset? They go, I don't know. I think I'm okay with that. Whatever. And so that's an agent that I would go, yeah, okay, I could hire that person. If they said, no, I need to be the one, and they weren't on the team. Because even contractually, we had our independent contractor agreement, and then we had our team agreement. The independent contractor agreement is between agent and broker. The team agreement is between agent and team leader. In that, it said, everything goes under the team leader's name, all the numbers go under that, because for my purposes, we wanted to get to platinum for the New Jersey Association of Realtors Circle of Excellence. We wanted to get to platinum level the quickest by using that synergy. We wanted to get on the top 250 penetration, the market penetration report in your MLS shows the top 250 agents. We were doing it an individual under my name so that every time we went on a listing presentation, we could show people that we were in the top 10 and typically number 1 or number 2 in Monmouth County, depending on the unit count. We were never the top in volume because we did smaller volume. But so to answer your question, for me, we did everything under my name, not because I was full of ego, but because we wanted to drive up our numbers. That was the way we did it. So, but I see teams split evenly on that. Some are under the team leader name, and then some are promote the whole team. And in the MLS, they're even sharing the listings. But that wasn't my team model. Did that answer your question? Question.
What are some customer service, systems that you implemented in your team that allowed you to be successful?
So customer service systems. The number one that I can say unequivocally was our client events. We had client appreciation events. We did 4 client appreciation events a year. So in March, we had our bowling event where we rented out the entire bowling alley, 150 people. Shirts, prizes, games, DJ, lots of fun, videographer, all that good stuff. In June, we had our night at the Blue Claws. So we did a baseball game. We took 250 people to 300 people every year to that. In August, September, we did the Team Super Mike Lake Picnic. So we had a park, Nut Swamp Park, or Turkey Swamp Park in Freehold, and we had about 300 or 400 people every year come to that. Again, food, fun, games, prizes, cornhole tournament, volleyball tournament, all that stuff. And then in November, we did the Team Super Mike Great Pie Giveaway. This is before every agent and their mother was doing the Great Pie Giveaway. So those are the 4 events. Each event generated 5 to 7 referrals within 7 days, and generally even higher about 2 weeks later. So, but that's the number one thing. And the customer focus was we didn't discuss business except we had a table, a table where they could sign up for a notary. Everyone on the team was a notary, by the way. They could sign up for a tax assessment appeal. Everyone on the team knew how to do a tax assessment appeal. We had something called the VIP Concierge Program that I now teach my coaching clients, and that's basically providing a ton of ancillary services outside of buying a home. We had to sign up for that. So that was our only table where we discussed real estate. Other than that, the focus was solely on the clients, making sure that we loved up on them, that their family were taken care of that day, the kids were having a great time. That was the general idea. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, question. You're welcome.
So it sounds awesome to say form your business to be able to sell it, but what does that actually look like? Because when you're doing transactional purchases per person, that person may not be a long-standing repeat customer. So
Yeah.
how do you build that business in real estate to be able to sell it?
Yep, and unfortunately, today we're not going to go into great detail on that, but I will give you the simplistic answer to it. So number one, your clientele, your book of business is that your sphere of influence housed in a CRM. It's not just on paper. It's not the sticky notes. It's not for you who say, my CRM is in my phone, my sphere of influence is in my phone. That's not what we're talking about. It's an actual database built out where it's tabbed or hashtagged sphere of influence, family, friends, past clients. It's in the conversations. So when you're making the pitch, it's your conversations. It's the other agent buying your business that can see the level of notes and detail, the follow-up. They can see that you got 100 leads where probably 30 or 40 are ready to list in the next 3 months based on the conversations. It's that depth, right? That's the main thing you're selling. The other thing is very, very important, everybody, and I want you to listen to this, is when you sell, you're making a pitch to the person who is going to buy your business. Part of what you're pitching is every bit that you've accomplished, including and especially, for me, 291 reviews, right? So the person that bought my business at that time on Zillow, they were at 750 or 780 reviews. When we closed, my reviews, since I became part of the team, became his reviews, and he was one of 4 agents that went over 1,000 reviews overnight, right? There's a value to that. On the Zillow map, there are past sales dotted on the map. When you sell your business to somebody, if they don't have a lot in that coverage area, and now your map goes on top of their map, and now they have coverage, right? It's these little things that you have to think about as the person selling to try to fill in the blanks. So it's not just your book of business. Plus, of course, it's your last 3 years of business, averaged out. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but the point is you're not just selling your book of business, it's the depth of your book of business. Does that make sense? Yeah. Question?
So my question is for a new agent, such as myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Part-time agent, dual creator, have another career. Going into joining the team, what are the pros and cons of doing so?
Well, you as a new, is that your full question?
Yes.
What's your first name?
Jay.
Jay, as a new agent and as a part-time agent, you really got to join a team. Like that's, if I could give you any advice, definitely join a team. But you should be looking for a team that has structure, right? Because really for you, if you came to me and said, Mike, tell me the top 3 things I need from the team. You need leads. You need leads quickly, right? Because you're not able to generate enough leads on your own with the limited time that you're going to be able to put into it. So leads, I would say structure and discipline. Like somebody's going to have to help you with basic structure, and then you're going to need education. The educational component is going to be how to build your sphere of influence, which CRM to use, or if you're going to use KV Core, how to use KV Core, how to maximize it, how to do a drip campaign, how to do squeeze pages and push pages, and how to generate leads from social media and things like that. You're going to need those tips. Because remember I told you before, the average agent, 13% of agents fail the business 6 months to the first year. And that is, by the way, that picture I just painted, most of those agents are solo. So they're going in on their own, and their broker says, not our brokers, but most brokers say, go, you can do it, go, right? But they're not giving any guidance, right? So the team leader is going to give you that guidance if they're doing their job right. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Can I comment on that for them?
Yeah.
My partner does that, which is my father. So
Oh, I like that.
roughly 8 to 18 hours a day, 5 to 10 hours a day, and he hires coaches and he joins the team as well. So you have to do stuff like KPIs and MSP that helps you more organized in the business if you work a W2. So things like that would definitely help.
Mike, we'll take
Thank you.
one more.
All right, one more question. I didn't get any from this side. Anybody? Got a question in the front? Can we do 2 more? Can I negotiate?
Quick, yes.
All right, 2, go.
Okay, so how do you start from scratch? Like I want to build a team. I have many new agents that contact me. Hey, I want your advice. They drain me. I'm on the phone constantly sharing it.
Do you have a team right now?
I do not have a team, but I would like to start a team. But I don't know how to get to start a team.
Like I said on the board, systems on that sheet. First is make sure you have your systems in place. Get the systems, then get an admin or a transaction coordinator, and then build out your first agent. Don't even talk to agents right now about joining your team until you have those other 2 things perfected.
And then one other thing. So for the split, so you have a new agent that has just gotten their license, and you say the split should be 50.
Can you just say it a little louder for everybody? A little louder.
So you have a new agent who's just licensed, and then the split is 50-50.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Help
so.
me explain. Help me understand that.
Yeah, so if an agent was walking into a conventional brokerage, they're probably going to be on a 50-50 split, 60-40 split. 30. If they're walking into EXP, they're an 80-20. But if they're walking in traditional, there's still 50-50 splits out there and 60-40. You can command 50-50, and it makes sense for that agent if you have the systems in place. If they believe that you've got the transaction coordinator so that they don't have to do the transactions. You're alleviating some things for them. They're paying for that through that split. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, I had one more, and then we're done. You're welcome. One more?
Yeah, how you doing, Mike?
Hey.
Thank you for being here. My name is Tahib Grantham, and I am a notary myself. And question, you talked about when you're going on vacation and how you handle your wife and not being able to have your phone. At what part in your business where you got to that point where you could take 10 days vacation without looking at your phone. And
The part where I got to that part of the business was when I built out the full team. I had the full agents, I had the systems in place, I had the staff in place where I literally could just step back. And they knew that so-and-so on my team was covering my business and the staff was there to cover the business. It was like I wasn't away because they were just taking over my role.
right, so even when you start, I've been in business for 4 years now, and I do have to have those conversations with my wife, hey, went away this April. For 5 weeks away for actually was 7 days, but I still have my phone because I was able to, checking emails and stuff like that. So I'm not at that point where I don't want to say I can't have a system, but checking occasionally. So I just trying to tap into your mindset of.
I would get an assistant. For you, I would get an assistant. Do you have an assistant?
I don't have one.
That might be a way to explore it, is to have an assistant. And even if for you might say, well, listen, if I can't do it a full-blown assistant, maybe you start with a virtual and have all calls, text, and emails forwarded to that assistant while you're away. That could be one way to do it. But you have to really train the virtual assistant well in order for that system to work. So I think we have to wrap up on time. So, yeah. I think, yeah.
Closing.
That's it. We're wrapped up. Yeah. Good.
Guys.